Let me talk to you.
The biggest icon in wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Welcome. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of Let Me Talk to You, episode 28. My name is DJ. I always mess this up. My name is Frankie Fresco. Everybody knows me as Fresco Music. I am a DJ as well. Sorry about that. I'm so used to saying this when I DJ. Sorry. When I'm doing like formal events and stuff like that. But my name is Frankie Fresco. Thank you so much for joining along with my brother, DiTrapio. What's up, DiTrapio? How you doing, brother?
What's up, brother? All good out here, Madrid
Nice.
out.
Hell yeah! I saw that they are actually champions. We got some big news. We got a lot to talk about, man. Today is gonna be a very interesting show. We have special guests, and we don't only have special guests. We have female guests. So I wanted to go ahead and our show tonight is gonna be about the Caitlin Clark saga. We're gonna get opinions. I mean, obviously me and my brother are gonna talk about it, and then we're bringing in some lovely ladies that are gonna go ahead and give their opinion as well, and get a woman's perspective. Now keep in mind, this is all gonna be friendly. You understand me? It might get a little bit heated here and there, but at the end of the day, we're all just here to go ahead and have a professional and educated debate. But before we talk about Caitlin Clark, we're gonna go ahead and talk about NXT. So our rundown goes like this: we got NXT, we got Battleground going on this Sunday. So we're gonna talk a little bit about what happened last night, and then we're gonna go ahead and do our picks, me and my brother, for Battleground Sunday, happening at the UFC Apex Center, 8 o'clock. Make sure you tune in. Then after that, we'll go and jump into the Caitlin Clark. We're going to focus on the Caitlin Clark because that is where we are going to have our guests. It's going to take, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about it. We're going to show some video as well and get this perspective of some of what all of us think about this whole situation. Then after that, we'll talk about the Miami Heat. There's a lot to the Miami Dolphins. Sorry, there's a lot to talk about. Tua Tagovailoa actually got, he had his own press conference. Well, not press conference, but they interviewed him. They also had Jalen Waddle get interviewed. They also had TYREEK Hill. So there's a lot of things to talk about. Me and my brother will go ahead and talk about that. And finally, at the end of the show, we'll go ahead and talk about Real Madrid. I think that's why my brother's wearing the jersey, because he knows that there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Real Madrid. And we're not going to talk like crazy stuff about Real Madrid. We're going to talk about what we think, and we'll a topic here and there that I came up with for my brother and myself to go ahead and kind of chime in and see if what you guys think, if you guys agree or disagree, and what you think is the future for Real Madrid. I mean, this team is becoming a powerhouse, and they already are. So let's go ahead and let's start first and foremost with NXT. Sir, last night we had the ability of tuning in and watching into the new Jordynne Grace making her way from TNA over to the NXT world, and she went ahead and had her debut at NXT, which was pretty cool. And I just want to give you a quick ask you a quick question. Did you get to watch NXT last night?
I wasn't able to tune in, but I was able to catch the highlights.
Very nice, very nice. So what happened last night? Jordynne Grace was able to go ahead and show herself debut in the NXT world. She won her match, and then of course her big matchup coming up is now against Roxanne Perez, and that's going to be a Battleground. So that was probably one of the biggest things that happened last night. The second biggest thing is that we had the contract official. I guess you can't say that they officially signed it. It was more that Ava, the general manager of NXT, made it official, where the main event for Battleground will be Trick Williams with the new arrival of Ethan Page. So that's going to be the main event.
AEW.
That which is going to be Ethan Page, who, yes, absolutely, he just came from AEW and now he's in the NXT world. So that's going to be the main event for Battleground this Sunday. Uh, so, with that being said, we don't want to take too much time of the NXT world. We want to go ahead and make our picks for Battleground. I know yesterday on the Squared Circle Digest, me and Sean did not get a chance to talk about the NXT and do our picks, is because I had told Sean I wanted to do the NXT picks here on the Let Me Talk to You podcast with my brother. So I wanted to focus on that with him. So let's go ahead and start. Now, if I miss any of the matches, I do apologize, but I think I have everything. So one of the matches that we're going to...
Six of them.
There's 6 matches. Okay, so in no particular order, because I'm just trying to go ahead and have each one being shown on the screen. I hope I get all of them. So here's one of the matches we got, and it's the NXT North American Championship belt on the line. It's a triple threat match. We got Wesley, Obafemi, and Joe Coffey going ahead and duking it out between all 3 of them. And what's up, Chad? I see you, brother. Thank you so much for tuning in, man. Nick, talk to me, man. Battleground Sunday, this 8 o'clock on the UFC Apex on Peacock. Who do you got winning this match?
Man, this is a good match. I hope this isn't something like the first match of the Battlegrounds. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but I don't see Wesley or Joe winning. I definitely see Obafemi defending his title.
Yeah, I think for me, man, I like Obafemi. I think he's the favorite to win this. I don't think Joe Coffey is gonna win it. I don't think Wesley's gonna win it, but I'm gonna go on a different route. I'm gonna go ahead and say Wesley takes it. I think he deserves it. He just came back from his injury. He has a lot of momentum going for him, and I think Obafemi has been the North American champion for a while now. So I think that there's a very good reason for him to go ahead and win the belt. So you got the champion Obafemi winning. I got obviously Wesley going ahead and winning that matchup. The next matchup we got, and let me see if I could get this, and I apologize if I'm like moving around and doing some stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to get all of these one by one. And again, in no particular order, we're just going ahead and trying to have Jesus Christ. I always sorry about that, guys. All right, so the next match we have here is the one that we spoke about a little bit earlier today, and that is Roxanne Perez defending her NXT Women's Championship belt against Jordan Grace from TNA. And obviously, like I said, Jordan Grace just made her debut on NXT this yesterday, and now she will be taking on Roxanne Perez. Talk to me, Nick. Who you got, man? Roxanne Perez, or do you have the TNA champion Jordan Grace?
No, man, no way Jose is Roxanne Perez gonna lose. She's gonna definitely win. I see her. It's gonna be a great match. Them two know how to really put up a great show, but for sure, Roxanne Perez has to defend that title. She's not gonna lose against, the TNA champion. No way, Jose.
For me, man, this is a close one. For some strange reason, I agree with you that Roxanne should win. But what happens if Jordan Grace wins? Like, that would be very, very interesting. And I have the feeling that WWE wants to go ahead and kind of put both of them, like, really, really, like, I think they want to do more collaboration with TNA. So I'm gonna go on a limb, and I wouldn't want to go ahead and not say I want to see this. I want to see a double champ when it comes to the NXT. So I think Jordan Grace is going to pull the victory. I say she becomes the NXT Women's Champion and she becomes the TNA champion. And I think this goes and makes more like a good big collaboration between TNA and NXT, in my opinion. So you got Roxanne Perez. I got Jordan Grace winning it on Sunday. All right. The next match that we got lined up here is, let me see, I already got that one. I already got that one. And this is another one. This is a good one here. So the next one that we're going to go ahead and present is the 6-woman ladder match. And it basically is for the NXT Women's North American Championship belt. So we got Sol Ruka versus Lash Legend versus Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Michin, and Kelani Jordan. I'll go first on this one since you've gotten first on the other two. Something is telling me, man, that Kalani Jordan, her momentum is big. For me. I would say that the favorites or who I would personally want to see is Fallon Henley or Kalani Jordan win. So I'm like 50-50 with both of these two girls. I don't think Lash Legend is gonna win it. I think she has that too much drama with Trick Williams. I don't think she needs the belt right now. I think we want an up and comer. I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say Kalani Jordan wins this one, man. Who do you got?
Man, I thought the same thing. I thought Henley was a good pick too, but honestly, I feel like you're underestimating Lash Legend. I think it would be great for her to have an opportunity like that. So I think they'll flirt with the idea of who the two favorites for sure is Kalani Jordan or Lash Legend. I agree.
So
So I would say Lash Legend would win it.
okay, so you're gonna go with Lash Legend. So I'll put here Legend. Okay. All right. I mean, we can't go wrong with either or. I think they're both really, really good women. And whoever wins the NXT Women's North America Championship is gonna be fun because it's gonna be a ladder match. So
Yeah,
and in
very
the
interesting to throw a ladder out there with with all of them out there just duking it out.
and not only that, but it's at the UFC Apex Center. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna
Oh,
do
that's
that ladder.
interesting.
That should be fun. All right. Another match that is taking place on Sunday is the NXT Tag Team Championship match. And of course, that's Nathan Frazier and Axiom, my two favorites, right? You know, I'm a big fan of them. Never,
I actually like them now. They're pretty cool.
I just don't. I'm not big fans of these two guys. I mean, I like Axiom, he's okay, but Nathan Frazier, I'm not a big fan, but it's okay. And then you got the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. I'll go ahead and choose it. I'm sorry, I can't go with Nathan Frazier and Axiom. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of those guys. I mean, I have a
Didn't they
feeling they're
beat
gonna
them
win.
once already?
I don't remember. I think Nathan Frazier and Axiom did beat the Good Brothers once. So, but I'm still gonna go with my pick. I'm still gonna put. I'm choosing the people that I like. I'm gonna say the Good Brothers win this one.
Sarah, I guess you and I are just having different points of view this today because I'm gonna go with my boy Axiom and Nathan Frazier. They're gonna go ahead and defend those titles, baby, tag team titles.
Well, I mean, hey man, they should be the favorites. I wouldn't be surprised. And of course, the Good Brothers don't need the belts. They kind of carry themselves. Plus, they're on SmackDown a lot. So I'm just going with who I like and who I think should win it. But I kind of agree with you. I think those XEM and Nathan Frazier are probably gonna go ahead and win that
It's a
one.
good,
Unfortunately.
it's a good pay-per-view card, to be honest with you.
It is, man. It's stacked up. One of the biggest matches. It wouldn't be surprised if it might be either this one. I think is going to be either the opener or it's going to be the main event. And of course, that is Battleground Las Vegas Underground style Shayna Baszler versus Lola Vice. And the reason I said this could be the main event is because Lola Vice and Shayna Baszler, they've been promoting this match
Big
drastically.
time.
They really, really are pushing Lola Vice. So this one should be good because it's underground rules. That means that everybody's on it's kind of like lumberjack, except you can't go ahead and they're not gonna push you back in. You just have a crowd around I guess you could say the floor where they're wrestling, and then they're all like screaming and just going in and no rules, no hold bars. And basically the way you win is either by knockout or submission. So I'm gonna go on a limb. I think Lola Vice is just there's too much momentum for Lola Vice. I don't see Lola Vice losing this. So I'm gonna go on a limb and I'm gonna say Lola Vice beats Shayna Baszler.
This interesting I mean, this match is very interesting because both have, MMA background. So they can kind of have a better chemistry when it comes to having that different style of wrestling, that camaraderie. So I really like this match big time. I'm with you, man. I think Lola Vice will continue this rhythm, continue this, you know, a huge fandom that she's creating. So I agree with you, Lola Vice. I'm gonna go with Lola Vice.
All right, I
It's
think
gonna
this
be interesting. I think this is my second, aside from the Trick match.
Ethan
This is
Page.
probably my second one.
Well, right now, look at this. This is crazy right now. There's 6 matches. We've already picked 5 of them, and in all 5 of them, we haven't agreed on. This is the only one. This is the only one that we actually agreed on that we both feel that Lola Vice is gonna win. I wouldn't be surprised if Shayna Baszler beats her, but you just can't. I think Lola Vice just has too much momentum on her. All
Mhm.
right, and then of course the last match. Hopefully we got it right. This is the 6th one, so I'm hoping I got all 6 of them. I hope there's not one that I'm missing, but if I am, at least these are the main six that I was
Nah, you got
informed that was
Eric. You
going to
got all of
happen.
them.
So of course it was the signing, and then obviously Ava was there last night, and it's of course Trick Williams versus Ethan Page. Sir, talk to me, man. Who do you got, Ethan Page or Trick Williams?
Whoop that trick, bro. It's all Trick Williams. He's the baby face of NXT right now. So for sure, they got to roll with his momentum. So 100% whoop that trick.
I mean, I can't disagree with you, man. I think Ethan Page is gonna be a star in the NXT world. He's already being a star in the NXT world,
Great
but
mic skills. Great mic skills from Ethan
he
Page.
was last night. Last night he did a phenomenal job. I'm not gonna lie to you. I that's why I see him becoming very big in the NXT world, but I just can't see Trick Williams losing to him. And
Not yet.
obviously,
Not yet. Not yet.
this is Ethan Page's first match, so I just in one way or another, I just can't see Ethan Page going ahead and just losing this match. I'm sorry, Ethan Page winning this match being his first match. You understand me? And Trick Williams, like you said, he's riding momentum. He's the face. He's the baby face of NXT right now. There's just too much fan base following him. It's too soon, and it's the first match for Ethan Page, and nobody, NXT world, the people who follow AEW know who Ethan Page is, but there's also a lot of people who don't know who it is. So it would be kind of a shocker for me to go ahead and say Ethan Page upsets Trick Williams. So I gotta go with you. I think we did a really good job doing our picks. I'm not gonna lie to you, Nick, though. Out of the six matches, we agreed on two of them, which was the Lola Vice one and the Trick Williams. But the other ones we're all 50-50 on them, like I mean the only one that obviously could be a little bit different is obviously the six the ladder match with the six women.
Mhm.
But overall, man, it should be a very, very exciting pay-per-view battleground. Again, guys, it's gonna be held this Sunday at the UFC Apex Center. Don't be surprised if you're a UFC fan as well. You're gonna see a lot of UFC fighters in the crowd, so it's gonna be pretty cool. NXT actually did that yesterday, where they went ahead and they put like they did like little clips of all the UFC wrestlers or all the UFC fighters going ahead and kind of picking who they thought was going to win some of these
Oh, that's cool.
matches. So that was pretty cool from NXT and from the UFC. So I like the way that they're collaborating it, and who knows, this might lead up to many, many more uh events of the NXT in the Apex Center. I think it
Smart.
would
Smart
only
move.
expand, and I'm curious to see how they do it. Like the whole from the cage match all the way to wrestling. So that's pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if even Dana White is probably there. So it should be fun and exciting. And again, it's cool for the NXT wrestlers because they're making their way over to Las Vegas. So they're lucky. They're lucky because that's going to Vegas is fun. I've never been there, but my brother has told me great things about Las Vegas. So
Sir, what about AW? AW has double or nothing in Las Vegas. So come on, sir.
yes, they do have that, but it is what it is.
It's cool because when I went to EDC Las Vegas last year, that like each resort has like these huge screens, and one of them was literally saying AEW double or nothing the following week, of course. But it was pretty cool seeing that sign.
That's cool. So now we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about this whole drama with Caitlin Clark. Let me see if I could. Let me see. Hold on a second.
Guys,
Can I?
don't forget, thank you for so much for tuning in. We really appreciate the commitment. Don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, show to your family and friends. We're just two brothers that like to talk about sports, so we appreciate the love and support.
Absolutely. And we have one of our guests coming in already. I'm gonna bring her in. There is no video, unfortunately. If she decides to show her face, let us
Oh,
know. But we have one more person in our as a guest. I'm hoping that my sister also makes her way over. I'm gonna actually, you know what? Let me remind her. Let me see what she says. Let me see what she has to say. Let me know when I should be on. Probably now. She just sent me a message like, "Let me know when I should be in now, like now."
tell her to bring Nina too, please.
Oh, we could bring Nina. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and give a big round of applause to Steph. Steph, how are you? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
All right, I like it. I like it. Well, thank you so much for being part of our show. Me and my brother, let me talk to you, and hopefully, I could get my sister to come in as well. And I know that you might be with somebody else around there. So if we also get the privilege to hear from Claudia, then let us know as well. I mean, she could also be part of the segment. Like I said, this part is a little bit different because we want to talk about Caitlin Clark. We usually don't talk about the WNBA, but it's such a good topic right now and so controversial that we wanted to go ahead and inform everybody about this whole situation. Now, before we get your opinion, Steph, and before hopefully my sister makes a show, I want to give you guys and I also inform everybody of who Caitlin Clark is because some of us don't know who she is. And at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark is a superstar in the WNBA. And right now, it's a little bit challenging for a lot of people who don't tune in. They don't know nothing about her. Let me see if I could share this. But let me hold on. Before I do this, let me see if I could do this instead. Hold on a second, Steph. I got you here as well. Hold on. Let me see if I
No worries,
could
you're good.
share this. And sorry, guys. So I got Steph there. Let's do this. I'm gonna add the media slot, and I'm just gonna put it really, really big here, and then we'll take it out, and
What's
then
up, Josh?
we'll bring it back out. What up, brother? What up, Josh? All right. So here is sorry. This is editing 101 live. Sorry about that,
Hey, man,
guys. There
live,
you go.
baby. There you go.
Okay, so it's blocking me and my brother, but it's okay because I'm not gonna have it on the whole time. So let me show you what we got here. So Caitlin Clark, who is Caitlin Clark? Caitlin Clark obviously played for Iowa in the women's college basketball, and she was well known by a lot because she became the women's all-time scoring leader. So she was very, very successful in the college world. Um, some of the records that she broke was she had the most points in Division One history in men and women. So in the men, it was Pistol Pete Marriage, but she surpassed him. She was also known as the AP Player of the Year back in 2022-23 season, and then the 3-point shots made. Clark had over 509 shots. On the bottom here on the right, you will see what she's averaging, and if you could tell, she's this is 11 games. I think she played one more extra game, so this is a little bit behind. I was doing this yesterday, but she has 50. She's averaging about 15.6 points. She is struggling with turnover. She has like about 5.1. She has 6.4 assists. Her field goal percentage is 35%, which is not bad. Her free throws is 89, which is normal, typical. She's not doing anything out of the ordinary. Like it ain't extravagant, but it ain't like she sucks either. She's only 22 years old. She's from Iowa. And on top of that, she's 6 feet tall and she weighs 152 pounds. So just going into
What's
depth
up, no doubt.
as far as who she is. And then of course on the left hand side, lower left bottom, uh Kennedy Carter. So Kennedy Carter was the young lady who actually went ahead and unfortunately pushed Caitlin Clark in that matchup that they had and kind of started up this whole controversy when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And you can look at their stats right there of what they're doing as well. And you could see the difference between what Kennedy Clark does compared to Caitlin Clark and Kennedy Carter compared to what Caitlin Clark does, and you could see that there's a big difference. Not too much though, but I mean you could tell that Kennedy Carter is more of a girl that she hustles and gets her stuff done, but um she is not the main attraction when it comes to the WNBA. The superstar of the WNBA right now is Caitlin Clark. So that's who we have. So that's a little bit about who Caitlin Clark is. And before I show you a couple of video here that I wanted to show you guys, uh, Steph, do you know anything? Do you follow the WNBA or do you know anything about Caitlin Clark? Anything like that that you might think of?
For the most part, what I've seen online has been the banter that she has between her and Angel Reese. Um, but yeah, she's pretty big on WNBA. I don't really follow it, but 100% she's definitely made a name for herself.
Okay, cool. Um, we also have the our second guest around. I'm gonna bring her in just a few minutes. That way we could go ahead and have her as well. And again, like I said, I want to go ahead and have a woman's opinion on this. So let me change this format, and I'm gonna bring in our second female guest, and that is Paola Colmenares, our sister. What's up, Paola?
Hi guys. Hi, my little brother, my big brother. Hola.
And then of course there's Juan Carlos. Of course, shout out to Juan Carlos as well. And then
Oh,
Nina.
there she
There
is.
is Nina. Of course, you can't let go of Nina. We gotta love Nina. So, I wanted to show a video. I wanted to show a video of what happened on First Take, and I kind of like it was like a 40-minute segment, and I kind of bunched it all up to like probably 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and play. If you guys like maybe halfway, I'm gonna stop it. That way I could get your opinion of what they're talking about, and then we'll go ahead and finish the video, and then go even more depth as far as what we're going ahead and gonna talk about when it comes to um Caitlin Clark and this whole saga. So bear with me, guys. I'm trying. Let me see if I could do this again. So let me put present share video. This should be good. All right. And then let me know if you guys can hear me. If you could hear it, guys. So like no doubt or cap or All right, so I wanted to go ahead and stop it there, and then obviously I'm gonna unmute all you guys because I know you guys were all. I had you all muted that way we could hear the thing, the sound, and I hope you guys were able to hear it. Sorry if I'm a little bit too loud. Let me lower this. It sounds like I'm a little bit too loud. But I wanted to go ahead and get your opinion, guys, because there was a lot that was being told in that video, right? There was a lot of heated debate. A lot of them were discussing about how there's this narrative in the WNBA that the women are kind of against Caitlin Clark, and that also kind of coincides with the topic of our headline, which is Caitlin Clark versus the WNBA. So we're gonna go around. Um, Obviously, I think my sister dropped. She maybe lost some connection, but we're gonna start with obviously our guest, Steph. I want to get your opinion. I want to know what you think about. Is there really a Caitlin Clark versus a WNBA? And then I also want to get your opinion. As far as like, if you don't think that's the case, then what do you think is the issue going on right now in the WNBA? And then we'll work our way around. So, what do you think, Steph? Talk to us.
I mean, for the most part, yeah. It sucks because the WNBA has been fighting for, its position just like the NBA has. And for the most part, because they've gotten Caitlin Clark so high up there, um, there can be jealousy, but I see it more as these players are kind of scared of her and taking those titles away, you know what I mean? So, in all fairness, Caitlin is a hell of a performer and knows how to play. And these other players are just scared of her getting their title taken away.
Okay, Paola, talk to me, man. What do you think about what you just heard?
So, I previously told you, I don't really follow the WNBA. I know as women we should, but it's not. I don't follow it. Um, I've never seen Caitlin Clark play. Um, I think you told me she was an okay player, right? She's an okay player.
Oh, we shared earlier in the show her statistics and on what she did. And I could go ahead and pull that up one more time here for you guys. That way you could see. Let me go ahead and share this. See if I could share this again. If not, I'll just read it off. It basically is. She was obviously a player for. Let's see if I can put this up. Yeah. So let me make this bigger. That way you could see it,
I mean,
Paula.
is she like a LeBron James of the WNBA? Is she a Michael Jordan of the W? I mean, is she that type of player?
Oh, that's not what I wanted to share.
Well, she's grabbed a lot of momentum.
I
Both
feel like
colleagues.
she's definitely an underdog.
Okay, yeah,
Correct.
that's more of like what I thought she was, because there the little bits and pieces that pop up, what I see, um, regardless of her record and stuff. I think I don't know. I think that was Molly and the other chick that was talking.
Monica.
Monica. I agree. It's it's frustration from the other players. Like this girl from Iowa comes from nowhere, and all of a sudden things change from like the monetary aspect. Um, and the players before her are like, well, I'm better than her. I have better numbers. I have contracts with Nike too, and all these people sponsors. So how come the spotlights are not revolved around me, around the rest of them? Um,
Well,
I,
before you continue, I think no doubt hit it on the mark. It's kind of like a LeBron at age 20, because
Hmm.
what she accomplished in Iowa was that she became like the women's basketball all time leading scorer. She broke records when it comes to 3-point shots, most points in NBA in women's and men's Division 1 basketball.
okay,
Her points, she's averaging about 15, 16 points a game.
okay.
She's doing a pretty good job. So she is, just look at her kind of like that, like the LeBron James up and coming,
Okay.
and that's why it's such a big topic.
So then that kind of changes because if she is up there, then yeah, the spotlight is gonna be on her. Then she's coming up. I think she's a rookie, right? 'Cause this is her
Yes.
first round. Okay, so then I think what everybody wants is that, hey, she needs to pay her dues, just like any job. You come here, we scrub the floor with you for a couple of months, a year, and then you can. I think that's what they're talking about. That she's not paying her dues as a rookie. Like, but then again, I didn't know this about her that she is like the LeBron James. That means something, and we have to respect that from her. And I guess that's just not. I think it's the first time that somebody actually has those stats, has those type of numbers, and like Stephanie said, that's Stephanie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like she said it. I think they're scared. I think they are. Yeah, because finally, you need like you need a Messi in soccer. You need a Jordan in basketball. You need whatever the player is in baseball. All that. But I
Not only
think
that, I feel like she's also giving that publicity that the WNBA hasn't been receiving it, and that they've been wanting for such a long time.
they need that
And so
because
the fact that you're like bringing another woman down, then what does that say for the sport itself? You know what I mean?
I think also, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but maybe the media is trying to say, you know, um, the players in WNBA are predominantly black, right?
Yeah, the women's the statistics is that more than 60% of the women in the WNBA are African American. And then after that, I actually have it pulled up here. So there's 63.8 at African American, 19.1 is white,
Okay.
Caucasian, 10.6 is two or more races, 3.5 is unknown, 1.4 is Asian, and 1.4 is Hispanic Latina.
All right.
Go for 1.0, baby. So
Baby steps.
so
Baby steps, big time.
I know. Um I think, again, I've always believed this, and I don't mean to offend anything, but the media is the the media is tremendo. The media, when the media needs to sell, they'll sell, and it doesn't matter what gets brought up, race, politics, whatever, religion, they'll go with it. And I think they're trying to turn it. It's going to end up being a race thing, because the clips that have been popping up in my YouTube have always been a black athlete like elbowing a white girl. Like, it's leading towards that. She's a big girl. She's played basketball before. She knows what she's getting into. The WNBA is the big girl league now. She has to put her big girl panties on and go for it. And she knows she's gonna get bumped, slapped, and we just have to leave it at that. And then she's got to rise above that, which she is. I don't know, how is she. Is she like answering? Is she being cocky? Is she like is she
No,
taking
she's being professional about it.
look at that. So she's being professional. So she understands where she's at. She respects it. And I think, just once again, the media is just running with it because they need to push something. They need to push an agenda, whatever it is.
Let's pull out the race card for sure. Let's take that out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
As an athlete myself, that I played aggressive my whole life, I was always the target for any sport that I played because I excelled in it. And so when you excel in a specific sport, you're always going to be the main target. And so the way that she's being treated on the court is definitely a sign showing her that, hey, we're also here. That foul was definitely, not non-sportsmanship. It wasn't fair. There are other ways to show your aggressiveness towards another player, but yeah, that foul was horrible. And again, I see it from your point of view. It's definitely a publicity stunt to be bringing her up and bringing down her name, but it's going to be part of her career to achieve better and look for a higher prospect.
Nick, let me get your opinion. I know we got the ladies with their opinion. I want to hear now. You and me are gonna go ahead and chime in on this. So we'll start with you,
Yeah,
Nick.
but
What do
you
you
got
think
two
about
ladies,
it?
Be careful.
Well, first things first, like I said before, I would like to thank Steph and Paola for giving great insight for them, for their perspective. I have to piggyback on Steph. This athlete in Caitlin Clark, she has so much momentum going on for her, and she Steph definitely nailed it when it says when you're excellent at a sport, you're basically a target, and you're going to be used for any type of media launch, media stunt. And I I I was looking into the numbers, and Caitlin Clark's first NBA debut, she reported the viewership was 1.53 million people. That's
Wow.
the fourth largest audience in 23 years. In 23 years. And so actually my bad. That was her second game. Her first game was 2.12 million. So it was
Wow.
2.12 million viewers out there. And obviously the media seeing that, and everything else right now is always involved with drama. And I really think that the WNBA is kind of telling her, "Hey, we're here too," but they're definitely showing that type of fear of like, man, this might be, the next LeBron, the next Tom Brady, and she definitely can back it up. She brought Iowa to back Final Fours. I think that hasn't happened in over 20 years. So we can't disregard her ability of having to be good in the sport of basketball. And so I hope this kind of tunes down a little bit, but at the same time, I'm hoping that Caitlin Clark can continue elevating WNBA because I think the WNBA is a great sport and it's awesome to see. So I hope
I
things clear out, but for now, this is like the main topic of discussion.
All
I
right.
I even saw Steph Curry mention that she's even scoring better than he is.
Look
Yeah.
at that, dude! And when you have people like that, Steph Curry, not just any player, Steph
Yeah.
Curry, to back up and having that type of foundation, that type of support from a great athlete like Steph Curry, it gives so much more authority in her
Hmm.
position. And so I'm
See,
on the
now you
I'm in
answer.
the
Now
I'm in the
you
Caitlin
answer
Clark boat.
makes me want to see the WNBA.
Yeah. So let me chime in, guys. Let me chime in. And of course, and let me talk to you. I am more open-minded and I am more outspoken, and it might bite me in the butt, but it is what it is. I gotta call it what it is, right? So first and foremost, Caitlin Clark, let's keep it real. She's white, right? She's white, and she's coming into a league where the whole over 60% of them are African American girls. So there's a lot of girls in the league, in my opinion. And this is just my opinion, and this is based on the way they've been treating her. Because what has happened here is that they continuously keep fouling her. Now, the last foul, which it was on the video, was obviously a dirty foul, and we all agree with that. Now, the other fouls, it's kind of 50-50. People can say it's aggressive fouls, people can say it's cheap fouls, people can say it's normal fouls. It is what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and say this, right? It doesn't look good for a league to go ahead and have, with all due respect, all the African American women kind of hate on this girl. Even if you go ahead and you paint this picture of like, hey, maybe they're not hating, maybe they're scared of her, or maybe they can't go ahead and she's being a target because she's so well popular, it's still a bad look for the WNBA. And I think the
Yeah.
women of the WNBA need to actually look and reap the benefits from it, just like they were saying, just like Stephen A. and Skip Bayless were saying, where not Skip Bayless, I mean Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp was saying where, hey, look, they were flying commercial, and now all of a sudden she opened her mouth and now they're flying charter. So you could tell that she is like a LeBron James. The only difference is that she's not black. She's not an African American. She's white. So now I could understand the WNBA women going ahead and saying, hey, look, we've been in the league for 20 plus years and we have achieved certain things, but now you bring this great white hype, and now she's blowing up the league like if we never existed. You understand me? So I could understand both sides. I could understand the women who, there are going to be women in the WNBA who are going to be pissed and be like, look, I've been busting my ass for how long, and now all this white girl is coming in and taking over everything, and everybody is like tuning in. What is this? Like, what about me? Where's my credit? And then I could also see the other girls saying, no, 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 we're not going ahead and picking on her. We're just, making her realize you're a rookie in the WNBA. You need to toughen up. It's going to be tough love before you get the respect, just like all of us went through it. So in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think the WNBA, you have a little bit of both. You have a little bit of the African American women, and not only African American women. Like you saw the percentages, there is some other
Minority.
people who have different race, and I mean not a lot. 1.4 the Latinas out there, but I'm pretty sure some of them are gonna feel that way. Not only that, like I mean, if I was a female and I was a Hispanic female in the WNBA, and I said, man, this girl, the Great White Hype, is coming in here, and my stats, my numbers are blowing her off the roof. Why should I like give her credit? Like I'm a better player than her. Why is she getting more attention than I am? That's not fair, in my opinion. And I think that's the problem. I could understand some of the women in the WNBA, having that train of thought. I don't think they should retaliate because I think in a way, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I feel that they are retaliating. I think beating her up
Mhm.
and pushing her and doing that does seem like they're targeting her. And when it comes to the media, I think you guys. I mean, I know the media likes to blow up stuff. I know that, but the media is also going ahead and kind of informing us of what is between the lines. We know that this is the whole situation. We know it's a white girl getting a lot of popularity because you're bringing in the white audience. Who in God's green earth would watch the WNBA? Like nobody tuned into the W. I never tuned into the WNBA, but now I am because of her, and I'm Hispanic. But at the same time, like my brother mentioned it when we were talking off camera, you got people betting too. I'm one of them. I'm on the Hard
The
Rock app.
WNBA?
I'm betting.
Yeah,
Yes,
you can bet on the WNBA.
I'm
Indiana
betting.
Beavers, they're plus 325 today.
I'm betting on Caitlin Clark and how many points she's doing, also because her name is so big. I don't know the other girls as much. I mean, back in the day, the
Angel
ones that
Reese and the other girl. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
Can
what No Doubt
can I
mentioned
say
right now in
something?
the comments that he's saying that the rookie class as a whole is also really nice, but Caitlin Clark is kind of like the cherry on top.
Can I say
Mm.
something?
yeah,
So I mean, now that you kind of like made it transparent, I think I think that too. It's, hey, this white girl came on, it's popular now. Yes, whatever her stats and all that, but I'm a minority, okay, and it happens just like in a job. You come in, you bust your ass, you're there, and then all of a sudden somebody younger, white, comes around and says, all of a sudden she happens to be your boss. You're gonna retaliate. You're gonna get mad. You're
it's
gonna say
human
something.
nature.
Yes, because, and again, I don't, but I'll keep it 100. You don't know that she Kaylin Clark is white. She is from a she is minorities go through different things, and living in towns that is not Miami, that is not Chicago, that's not more minority than the white population. You see the difference. You see the racism more. So I get Frank and Nick. I get the frustration from the other chicks. Those other girls came from. They struggled. They were tough. They did what they did, and then all of a sudden, they're saying, why couldn't they open the charter airplanes for me? Why isn't Nike offering me a sponsorship? And that's true, but they're gonna run with this because they need the money. I mean, WNBA, for heaven's sakes, the U.S. women's soccer is more popular than them. We all tune in for women FIFA because that's the shit. But nobody talks about WNBA until now, and I get their frustration. I get it. Why her? That's the question. Why her and not me?
And
But at the same time, though, you got to understand that she's helping everyone viewership wise, and
Yeah.
everyone's gonna get eventually everyone's gonna ride charter, and then everyone's gonna be like, damn, all right, let's do
Yeah,
this.
the amount of power that she has right now, it's really up to her to see what she does with it. I think if this is the kind of publicity that she's getting, it's going to be up to her to lift everyone up. Again, no matter the race, it's about the WNBA. She's got to do it.
yeah, I mean, the good thing about her is that at least the way she's coming across to the media is that she's being professional about it, and she's just saying, "Hey, I'm just dealing with it. It is what it is." So at least she's putting her
Yeah.
part. The scary part is if more and more WNBA girls start retaliating even more to the point that they could even actually injure the girl. That would suck. And
What
that would be
sucks, what sucks is that her teammates don't back her up, and that's even worse.
That's
See,
crazy.
that is a question because Frank off yesterday when we were talking about me coming on the show, he told me that she got fouled or something and nobody came to back her up. And
Come on, dude.
obviously, that's questionable, guys. Why aren't they backing her up? What is really Listen, I could be like this and smile and be professional, but behind closed doors, Frank knows I could be the biggest bitch in the world. They know. They're
Dang.
my brothers. They grew up with me. They know. But how? That's strange. That is very strange. There, that I, you, Frank and Nick, you guys play soccer, leisure sports all the time, and I'm pretty sure it gets heated. And if somebody pushes your teammate, you're gonna go on the next teammate. Oye, ¿qué te pasa, brother? What's up? Um, that is strange, guys. And Stephanie, that is
what
strange.
well, Steph, let me ask you something because you played, I believe you played like a swimming sport, right? You played
Water polo.
water polo. So did you ever run in a situation where somebody kind of like messed with one of your teammates and you guys retaliated or had her back? Did that ever happen?
Oh yeah, we would jump into the pool, and all of us, even the coach, would start fighting the girls in there. But
Hell yeah.
here's the thing though, like
I love it.
when you work in like in a team, there's a difference when you do single sports, like if you're doing swimming or whatnot. When you work in a team, all of you have one goal, and that's to reach the championships, to get that award that you're all fighting and striving for. There's no reason why their teammates shouldn't be backing her up. They should be out there. If someone in my team were to even lift a finger at one of my girls, we were all attacking. It wasn't just, you know, let her fend for herself. No, 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 no. When you work with a team, if one of us goes down, everybody's going down with them.
Yeah, I feel that that is something in question. From my experience playing soccer, and not only soccer leisurely, but when I played when I
Oh,
was a kid back in the day as well. Yeah, we had instances where if they came up and approached us, we would go ahead and not. I guess we wouldn't want to start a fight, but we had their back. Like, hey, if you're gonna come and hit one of my players, I'm gonna come and try to hit you. And that's just that you see that on every sport. You see that in baseball when a pitcher throws at a batter, all of a sudden the next couple of innings later, you see the opposite pitcher doing the same thing to the other team because they're retaliating. It's just common to just be kind of have like an enforcer. And even though you could say, because I know they mentioned it in the video, that maybe that the Caitlin Clark's team does not have a teammate that's kind of like an enforcer. That doesn't matter, man. At the end of the day, it could be
Hmm.
it could be a 4 foot girl or a 7 foot girl. Like you're still gonna go ahead and do something. You're gonna at least get in their face or something. Like I do feel that that kind of does show where the WNBA looks at Caitlin Clark and says, "Hey, look, we really don't got her back," and it sucks, man. Hopefully, hopefully this doesn't happen again where she gets bumped and hit hard. But
Hmm.
if she does, I hope that her teammates have her back, whether it's by like
are
just
they
getting
allowed
friendly
to
or
find these girls? Like in the NBA, are they
yes,
allowed to
yes,
find?
they
Yeah,
did. I believe they fined
yeah. You
Carter
have.
for
That's
that
not,
one.
But I understand their frustration, Frank. I understand it.
All right, so let me play the remainder of the media film, and then we'll continue this conversation. I'm gonna mute everybody that way you guys can all hear it. Give me 1 minute here. All right, so let's continue playing it and see what happens here.
guys like Charles Barkley, LeBron James, Stephen A., Shannon Sharp, right? Why do I point out those four guys? You have to be careful about the words that you put out there. The word hating, the word jealous, those are words, those are triggering words for women, right? Like in anything. I've been married to one, okay? I've been married to a woman for going on 15 years. And those two words, hating, especially when you're talking about referring to another woman or other women, those are triggering words. So you have to do a better job with that. They have to do a better job with that because it's not hating and it's not jealousy, it's competition. Pat McAfee, I think he owes everyone an apology, especially Caitlin Clark. You cannot call her out of her name like that. You can't. No one could come to his defense, and it's unacceptable. At the end of the day, you have to respect the WNBA, respect the women that are playing, respect the women that are covering the game, and you have to make sure you do it in great fashion. If you're a man that's jumping into that atmosphere.
I really appreciate you, Perk, because this is something that I've really appreciated about you, because anytime there's something that happens in the WNBA, you come to me first and you say, hey, Sinead, what are your thoughts? What's your perspective? And I think we do the same thing, particularly me as a woman in sports media. I don't try to speak on things that I don't know. I go by facts. I go by figures. I talk to my guys, and then I know that my game can really hold up based off of analysis, and then I speak based off of all of those things. So I appreciate you always looking out, and I think that you saying those things really helps everyone here today, specifically on our network. So, yeah, I feel like I need to.
All right, so that was pretty much the whole video of what they went ahead and they spoke about, and now going back to a couple things here. One thing I did appreciate that Stephen A. did say was the fact that, hey, at the end of the day, there is resentment, and we all agree that there is. Obviously, there's a lot of girls who are going to be upset, and there's a lot of girls that are going to probably not care and just play hard. I also feel that Monica mentioned saying, hey, look, a lot of those girls just playing hardball. They're just putting in the effort and making her feel that, hey, you're a rookie, you got to earn your stars here as a rookie. You're not just going to take over the league so quickly. And then the other thing is, obviously, at the end, Perk saying that we do kind of have to walk on eggshells when it comes to this topic, because at the end of the day, you say something that could trigger a woman. I mean, saying jealousy and envy and any of these words can trigger somebody, and it could really like hurt your platform, especially for those people who actually have a ton of followers and people are looking up to them and watching them. We could say certain things, but I mean, we don't have a huge audience, but look at us. We're not going to go out of our way and just be blunt about certain things. We got to be very cautious and professional, not only in this topic, but in every topic that we talk about, because at the end of the day, it could bite us in the butt in the long run. So I guess I want to get your last words when it comes to this. We'll start off with Steph. Anything else you wanted to go ahead and chime in about this particular topic?
What kind of caught my attention was Monica was the one with the orange top, I guess, right?
Yes.
And then the guy that's been in it for years, what's his name?
Stephen A.
Steven. So, yeah, the fact that she called him out, saying that, he could have been reporting on this for such a long time and made a difference ahead of time, that's wild to me, because it is true. He's been in the game for a while now. And now it's when he's actually really talking about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about you, Paola?
Oh, I have so many things to say. I just have to just piggybacking on the whole trigger words. They are. Don't let any other woman tell you. Yesterday, behind closed doors, Frank used the word. Do you think the other girls are jealous or envy? And that just set me off. And I said, Frank, remember, for us, for certain, obviously there's exceptions, but for the most part, I want to say maybe 97%, jealousy and envy. You really want to get into her skin? Those words, because for us, when he's right. I don't know who was speaking. I'm sorry. I don't know who the
That
guy
was
who
Kendrick
brought that
Perkins.
up. That was
Kendrick Pepper. He's like a retired NBA player.
Okay, yeah, you can tell that he's learned to listen to his wife. Don't those words are triggering. We prefer No, we prefer frustration, maybe resentment too. But yeah, I agree with him. It's not that you guys have to walk on eggshells, but there's just certain things that women are built differently. I mean, emotionally and mentally. If not, then we will be a man. Men are built differently. Um, so apart from that, I agree with him on that. And yeah, I'm with Stephanie. I don't understand why this is such a big deal now. Like, we should be focusing on the skills, not on the drama. But again, drama sells, I guess. And if that's what's gonna make them get more revenue, then it is what it is.
Going and I'm sorry, I'm gonna add one more thing. Going
No,
back
no,
to the
go for it.
whole words of jealousy and all that stuff. I mean, you've got to think that, these women have worked so hard and to have these particular words to describe the NBA, it's just you're literally spitting on the image that they've worked so hard for. And
Yes.
so, it really doesn't cater to these women. If anything, you're just giving them an option to cast the WNBA aside and be like, okay, this is just women drama. Let's just stick to NBA where it's just competition, competition, competition. So I'm all for, there's no such thing as bad publicity, but to a certain extent, when there's a history involved, I definitely don't think that that you should cross that boundary.
I mean, let me ask you, ladies, something. Do you think this is just hard competition, or do you feel that there is some type of resentment or some type of hate, and they're lashing out on this girl? Is that what it is? Because if the media's saying this and speaking about it, and we're talking about it, it's because we've kind of look seen the picture and we're like, damn, they're like kind of picking on this girl. Is it
I
that these girls are upset at her? Is it what we've been talking about this whole time, that the girls are kind of a little bit envious and jealous about her because she is Caucasian and she is bringing a lot of eyes to the league? Or can it be like what Monica and some of the other girls are saying, that it's just hard-nosed basketball, and a lot of women, you've never seen that in the WNBA, and now you're seeing it more than often because there's more eyes watching the actual sport?
I think definitely it's a 50-50, to be honest with you. For the most part, you'll have your side that because she's a white woman and she's gotten up so quickly, people are going to see that as a bad thing. And, then you have the other side. But for the most part, I mean, the fact that we're even talking about, like you said, the fact that we're even talking about WNBA and that us, or we're actually getting involved, it's such a good sign that at least people are watching and people are seeing, and that gives more influence to the sport.
Well said. What about you, Paula?
I
Good point.
think I'm gonna agree with her 50-50. It started off as straight physical hardball. We can do it like the boys. I mean, back in the days when Kobe was still alive, um, and he was in the Olympics with the USA team, and he pushed the shit out of Paul Gazan versus Spain. Nobody said anything. I mean, he pushed the shit out of this guy, and that's fine. Imagine somebody would have done that to Caitlin Clark. Oh my God, pobrecita, the whole world. So I think it started off as, okay, look at us, we could be physical too, but then it ran into, let's make it a story. Let's make it a little more dramatic. Women, you know how they are. Let's throw in the word jealousy. Let's throw in the wrong. It's and again, it's not jealousy. It's not hate. It's frustration. I think they're taking it out on her because she's the only person that they can physically take it out on, and emotionally they have to present themselves during after the game is over. They always have to go to these conferences and talk, and
Yeah.
that they have a certain way of that they have to speak. Oh well, this is a team, and this is, they can't really say, you know what, I'm freaking tired of seeing this girl I've worked. They can't say those things.
Yeah.
So I think they're lashing out on her through physical because they can't verbally express it. And yeah, that's I've never played in a sport, but I, as a woman, if I can, if we can verbally say it, women are emotional. We love it, and we stand by it. But we gotta get it out somewhere. Is it right? No, it's not. But I get the frustration, guys. I really do.
What about you, Nick? What do you think about that, man?
Um, I think Steph and Paola kind of nailed it. I think it's just a mix of a lot of variables, and right now the media is just using it as leverage. And I think, good or bad, this is still going to elevate the WNBA. I think they have realized that this is going to be a wave that they're going to ride throughout the whole season now, and hopefully, Caitlin Clark can shut up a lot of doubters out there.
Yeah, I mean, and I think both Steph and Paola did a great job mentioning and speaking and giving us the woman's perspective, right? Because at the end of the day, we're not women, Nick. You and me and a lot of the guys who are tuning into the to this podcast, we don't know a woman's perspective, and it's good to have a woman's perspective because at the end of the day, you know, this is a topic dealing with a league where it's about women, it's not men, you know. And to go and mention the example that Paola mentioned about Paul Gasol and Kobe Bryant, they made it a big deal, but not to this extent. It was never blown up to like this huge thing where uh, let's say an African American versus person from Spain. They never blew it up. They're kind of mentioning, they're kind of blowing it up in this content, the whole situation about, hey, look, kind of like black versus white, which sucks, man, because it shouldn't be looked like that. It should be more of like, hey, it's a woman who's bringing in a lot more eyes, and just take advantage of it, man. There's so much you're gonna gain from this. You're gonna get a lot of money, and people are gonna get paid. I don't know. I don't know if you guys know this. There's not a single WNBA girl that has um a shoe sponsorship. There's nobody, and like in the NBA, you had guys all the time with major shoe sponsorship, like Michael Jordan and Dwayne Wade when he was big, LeBron James. There's not a single one in the WNBA. So now with this type of girl coming into the league, it could open stuff like that. And not only that, I don't know if you heard in the video that we showed. I mean, the league minimum is $250,000 for the WNBA. Obviously, for us, that's a lot of money, but for them, it isn't because they're athletes. They should be getting paid. I'm pretty sure an NBA player league minimum is probably way more than that. So it could probably elevate that. And we've heard about it in not only in soccer and in a lot of women's sports that they're undervalued. They're not getting paid what they deserve because a lot of people don't, they don't find interest in them. And at the end of the day, women are holding it down in all these sports. And I mean, to go ahead and be talking about the WNBA, this is something cool. I like this. I think this is something that not only is going to benefit that WNBA, but it's going to benefit other women's sports. Because, like you said, like Paola has said, a lot of people tune into the Women's World Cup. I saw a statistic: the 10 most watched programming in all the world. And I believe the women's World Cup falls in number 6. So there's a lot of people who tune in into women's sports. It's just knowing how to sell it and market it. Not only that, but it's knowing how to sell and knowing how to market that particular sport. And this girl is a stepping stone for them. They found their Michael Jordan. Benefit it, use it. And then on top of that, the league needs to take care of her. I'm gonna be honest with you, because the league took care of Michael Jordan, so the league has to take care of her. So when they start seeing her get these fouls and stuff like that, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to start calling them, and you're gonna have to start putting fouls on them, putting fines on them, and all that stuff, because you have to protect her. Because it's not only gonna benefit her, it's going to benefit everybody. The owners of all those teams, the referees are going to get paid more. The people working, the girls on the bench, the girls in the that are actually playing, college girls. Dude, it's going to like elevate everything. Like, it's so beneficial. It's crazy. Like, how can you not take advantage of this, bro? Like, this is what they needed. It happens with every sport. Tiger Woods, when he was in golf, he elevated golf.
Who watched golf before him? No,
I didn't watch golf. I didn't care about golf. But the moment I saw golf and I started watching Tiger Woods, I'm like, whoa, this guy, who is this guy? And I started liking him. I was like, damn, and look how it's kind of taking a dip since he's gone. So, and it's the same way with any sport. You understand me? And you go from both the men and the girls. Like I said, it's just taking advantage. Let's not go ahead and fight about, this girl's white and we're black or Latino or whatever. Let's just work together in order to make the WNBA successful and everybody bank. And I like the example that Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp used, the one of Pat McAfee. You know, when Pat McAfee got paid millions of dollars in ESPN, what did that happen? What came about from that? Now, when Stephen A.'s contract, now when Shannon Sharp's contract is up, now I'm gonna ask for that amount of money because now that market has increased. So now my value has increased. It's the way it works. That's just business, you know. So, but before I let you guys go, Paola, any final words? Anything you want to say before you go? I we really appreciate having you.
Watch my brother's podcast. It's awesome.
Both of us, Nick and me, of course.
Both of my brothers. No, and thank you so much for having me and having a woman's perspective. And hopefully, the next time we talk about the WNBA, it's about the playoffs and their skills and their points.
Definitely, 100%.
What about you, Steph? Anything you want to say before we let you go?
Nothing, man. This was great. This is an awesome experience. Love talking to you guys about sports.
I mean, look, both of you ladies are the two ladies that I brought in. I'm so happy to have both of you, and not only that, but you both spoke very well about this topic. I might bring you guys more often. Like I know
Hell
Paola.
yeah.
I know Paola has been a couple of times, but Steph, I think you did a great job, and I hope Claude comes out of the shadows and she could come in one of these days as well. Because I
Claude's a
know,
little bit too shy for this.
nah, but whatever. We all talk. It's all.
Girl, women power, girl.
It's all love here at Let Me Talk to You. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. You guys have all been like the chat has been timing in, and everybody has gone ahead and mentioned, intrigued, and the viewership is up. I'm seeing people tuning in and watching. So you guys are bringing in some crowd. So I really do appreciate both of you ladies. If you guys ever want to come back, just hit me up, or I'll hit you up, and then we'll see if we could coordinate it and hopefully have both of you ladies back.
Yeah,
and even more.
whenever you have one of these like topics that we can really dive deep into, super about it.
Yeah, I know you're a big Panthers fan. I know that you're probably
That's the
tuning
next
in.
one that's coming up. Let me know.
I know you're a big Panthers fan. We're gonna see how it goes on Saturday, but yeah, I know that we definitely gotta talk about the Panthers with you. I know you're a big fan of them. So thank you again, ladies. I will see you later and talk to you later. But in the meantime, me and my brother will continue. We'll continue with the Dolphins talk. So thank you so much.
Bye guys. Have fun.
Bye guys. Bye. All right, so that was definitely it was kind of good, right, Nick? It was good to have the girls in. It was different. Maybe we should make it more of a habit of bringing them, no?
Oh, 100%. They both were great special guests, and I really do appreciate Steph and Paola, of course, and chiming in and really, talk about sports, and that's all what we do, So, and guys, again, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe. We really appreciate if you share it with your friends and family. We appreciate you guys for the love and support. And I guess we can talk a little bit about Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team.
It's not the Tua hate today. It's not the Tua hate. Now,
Perfect attendance, sir. Everybody was in mandatory minicamp, sir. You got John Smith.
Except for CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was not a mandatory over there in Dallas. He is an issue, right? He wants to get paid. But before we talk about the Dolphins, Mr. Alex Velasquez, I do not suck in golf. To my knowledge, you and somebody else went and played miniature golf on Monday, and I whooped both of you guys' ass in miniature golf. So I might not be the best golfer, but I'm definitely better than you, sir, and the other individual. The other individual, I haven't seen him in the chat, but he knows who he is as well. I am still better in miniature golf than both of you guys. Just saying. And they said anything but tool talk, please. All right, so let's go ahead by cheating. No, not cheating, sir, not cheating.
Bill Belichick style, baby. Bill Belichick.
So let's talk about the Miami Dolphins, and I know we're gonna go a little bit overboard, Nick, today because we had the segment of the Caitlin Clark, but so we had the topic. We had the interview of Tua, we had the interview of TYREEK, we had the interview of Waddle, and Mike McDaniel was interviewed. Let me ask you this first and foremost. Let's talk a little bit about the media, since that was something that was being brought about in the Caitlin Clark conversation. We spoke about it. People are asking Tua about his contract, and Tua is kind of brushing people off. Like, I don't know if you heard his interview, and I could probably pull it up, but he was kind of going ahead and telling it, like they asked him about his weight, and he was kind of like dry, like he wasn't answering, like, oh, like he wasn't giving us a clear cut, like it was like if it was bothering him a little bit. I kind of got that vibe from him. I got that vibe from him. I don't know about you. I got that vibe because when they asked him, "Oh, how much are you weighing?" And he said, "Yeah, whatever." He didn't even give a number. And I know it might be an issue for him because people have spoken about his weight before. So it is what it is. And then they asked him about obviously the contract, which is what everybody's talking about. Now, keep in mind, we do have the money now from this
Xavier
guy,
Howard.
Xavier Howard. So there's no movement. But then people were saying, little things like, "Hey, how do you feel?" And then people were saying angry, upset, and then somebody put antsy, and that he kind of said he felt antsy. So let me talk to you, man. What do you think about Tua and his responses? And was the media trying to provoke him? Were they trying to poke the bear and make him look like the enemy, or make him look like, yo, you're the bad guy?
I think Tua handled it beautifully, man. I think he stood his ground. He put those boundaries. The media likes to poke the bear, like you say. They had asked him, out of like the 12 or 13 questions they asked him, like 10 of them were just the same question. How do you feel about, the progress with your contract? Oh, do you feel this way? Oh, do you feel that way? They didn't even ask him, hey, how was practice? How do you feel? What was the rundown? It was literally just like, hey, contract, are you mad? Oh, yeah, so we can write up a little report and, start up a whole, can of worms that is not supposed to be there. So I think Tua handled it really well. And honestly, Frank, he doesn't care. This isn't rookie Tua that has to prove anybody anything, bro. He's gonna go out there, continue doing the good work, continue attending mandatory minicamp, getting that chemistry going, and the contract is gonna. To all my listeners out there and to every media, Tua's gonna get signed. What is the rush? They will sign Tua. That's
Okay,
it.
whoa.
That's
Okay,
it.
so I,
That's
I
it.
I like I like what you said about the fact that they didn't ask him that much stuff. I mean, he did talk about,
They didn't even ask him, hey, how do you feel about throwing the football to John Smith or to Odell Beckham? Or I don't think OBJ was doing rundown on the throws, but to the rookies, like talk about
that's a good
what's
point.
going on training camp, not about what's going behind doors. Like
I
he said,
mean, I mean, they
business
did a
is
little
business.
bit,
How is he gonna control that? Business is business. It's between him and his agent.
but
I
they
like
did.
Salty Tua. I like Salty Tua, so we
But
continue.
but they did ask him a little bit. Let's not go ahead and just knock off the media. They did
No,
ask him about the John Beck, about him working with John Beck, and how he said something about,
finally,
he said about the rubber type of technique or something like that, where he's working his hips and he's doing that, et cetera, et cetera. But let's keep it real too. You're right. They didn't ask him about practice. They were asking him more about his weight. They were asking him more about his contract. And I mean, let's keep it real, man. He's the quarterback. He's supposed to get paid. The media is always going to ask you about the contract. And I mentioned this in the big old radio show in the comments. Lamar Jackson, when his contract was up, they kept asking him and badgering him as well about the contract. So it comes with the territory. So don't come and, like, I'm not going to knock the media for asking him these questions. Al contrario, on the contrary, I'm going to go ahead and be like, keep asking him, because you need an answer. Now, it's up to him how he wants to answer. Does he want to go ahead and say, yo, no comment? Or, you know what? My agent is working on it. If you want to find more information, talk to my agent. That's it. But it comes with the territory. I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to knock the media for asking him those questions, because let's keep it real. They want a story. They need a story. Nobody cares about him throwing a pass to TYREEK Hill 15 yards or 10 yards in practice. That's not going to get eyeballs in whatever they're writing. It's about, hey, are you gonna get paid or not? And if you're not getting paid, are you salty about it? Are you upset about it? So
they want
I,
to hear him say, "Hey, I want my contract. I'm gonna sit out and I'm gonna be, a baby." Nah, man, that's not how Tua rolls, man. He's a leader. He takes things professional. He knows that business is business. Talk to me about how that spiral to Taj Washington, or the spiral to John Smith, or how Chain is playing really well. Like, come on, bro. Like, get out of here, man. Or Jalen Ramsey, playing good defense against Tua. Like, it's just media. This is where, and what gets me upset, it's the same media guys who keep on poking the bear, and they're not afraid to continue. Watch, media's gonna kick in again in 2-3 weeks, and watch, there's probably not gonna. I'm hoping the contract is done within the next couple of days, But if it doesn't, the questions are gonna keep on piling to the
But
point
they
where
need to be asked. Like, you got to keep asking them,
well, Frank,
Nick.
it's gonna happen. Like I don't know.
But that's
Not to
look.
sidetrack things, but look at the Mampe Real Madrid saga. It was the same thing. They kept asking him about the same question. When are you gonna leave? Are you gonna leave? Are you gonna leave? Are you gonna leave? And it got done.
Yes, but look how long it took for it to get done. He actually had to stay in PSG a couple, like a year or two, before he actually made the move to Real Madrid. Let's keep it real. So if Tua, the reason they're gonna bring it up is because if they don't resign him, you resign Jalen Waddle. You all of a sudden, let's say they find a way to sign Javon Holland, and then they're able to sign Jalen Phillips, and you still have Tua not getting re-signed. That's an issue, man. That's a concern because now we're doubting whether the Miami Dolphins actually believe in this kid, whether the Miami Dolphins actually feel that he is a franchise QB for this particular team. I could understand them keep asking him, especially the more and more we get closer to the regular season. That's a concern, Nick. That's not something that we should just brush off and be like, "Oh no, it's okay. He's gonna get signed." And keep in mind, Nick, there's other quarterbacks who are going to get signed. Trevor Lawrence is right behind as well. Once he gets signed, then the market value for Tua is going to keep getting higher. Look how the wide receiver situation happened where we were able to. That's why I give mad props to Chris Greer re-signing Jalen Waddle, because you saw what Justin Jefferson is now getting. You saw how much he was banking. You saw St. Prue how much he got as well. And you also St. Brown, my bad. St. Brown. And then now look at TYREEK. TYREEK wants to get paid. So you got the key thing here when it comes to the Dolphins is if you really believe in this guy, you need to sign him quickly before the market keeps changing and keeps getting higher and higher. And now, if you're upset, if you're a lot of Miami Dolphin fans who say, "Hey, Tua doesn't deserve 50 million a year. Tua doesn't deserve 55 million a year," well, get ready, because if Trevor Lawrence gets signed, all of a sudden Trevor Lawrence let's say he gets paid 55 million. Well, Tua's not talking about now 50 million or 55. Tua's going to be asking for 60. And then what is going to happen? And then if he doesn't perform on the field, then we're all going to feel like butthurt and be like, dude, why did the Dolphins do that? That's why it's so important for the Dolphins to re-sign him as quickly as possible. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be more expensive if we keep allowing it to just sit around. And you know what was crazy, Nick? Everybody at one point in time, I remember this a couple of years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, everybody said they were wondering if Tua was going to give the Dolphins like a discount. Remember that? When we were all talking, like, yo, maybe Tua's going to be cool and he's going to give us a discount. Well, we're finding out right now that Tua doesn't give a damn about no discounts. He wants to get paid. Hey, I went out there, I performed, I want to get paid, bro. And there's no discount. So the more the market moves, the more he wants more money. And that's just the reality of truth. So I think Chris Greer needs to hurry his ass up and sign the kid if he feels that that's the franchise quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Let's see what some people are saying here. Cat for Life says, the longer it takes, the worse it gets. Exactly, sir. Exactly. And then it says, the longer it takes, the better for Cheetah. Well, let's talk about that, Nick. So now that Cat brought that up, let's talk about that. So Cheetah was interviewed, and Cheetah was saying that he wants to be top 5 paid in the league when it comes to wide receiver. So we just finished paying the shit out of Jalen Waddle. There's no way in God's earth that we're going to be able to go ahead and sign Cheetah to a big contract and be able to keep a big contract for Jalen Waddle, for Cheetah, for Tua, for Javon Holland, for Jalen Phillips. There's not, we're not, we're not, we're not Inter Miami. Okay, we're not Inter Miami. We can't go ahead and bring everybody who's really freaking good back in the day and just make money, and the league is not going to make exceptions.
Sir, you mean Chelsea, sir, who spent over $1 billion in players and finished in 6th spot.
We're not Chelsea. We're not Chelsea. And again, we need to realize that Cheetah is probably not going to be with the Miami Dolphins after the season. So if we let him go, did the Miami Dolphins just waste 4 years of having probably the best wide receiver in the NFL? What do you think?
I don't think it's a waste. I just think it's just a positive chapter, positive production from the team. I know we haven't really exceeded the expectations we had with the type of talent we have, but this just helps Tua grow even more. And at the end of the day, wide receivers, I know Cheetah's a great Hall of Famer for sure in the future, and he's a Super Bowl winner. But eventually, next man mentality up, you know. And if we don't have the capacity and the salary to kind of extend Cheetah, which we kind of can, we can give him a whole bunch of signing bonuses and kind of work around his contract. Probably even give him an extra 2 years. And remember, Cheetah doesn't want to play for that long. He wants to play until he's like 33, 34. So I don't think it's a waste of time. Every team always produces or brings in great wide receivers. I mean, look at Devontae Adams or look at AJ Brown from the Eagles. I get it; they went to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win it. So is that a waste of talent? I think that's not the right way of thinking. I just hope we can find some wiggle room when it comes to re-signing all these players. I know Stephen Ross is not he's not shy of throwing down them checks, but
Chelsea vibes.
Oh yeah, Chelsea vibes all the way. But at the end of the day, I honestly don't feel that Cheetah's coming back. I think this just gave us a glimpse of, that Chris Greer kind of put all his chips in that and kind of in that contract and in that player. So hopefully we can extend. If not, then we just move on with Waddle. And eventually in his contract down the line, he's gonna be getting paid number one wide receiver money. And so that's why I think Cheetah's probably this is last year, and then unless he doesn't want like a family discount, like, hey, you can come for something around 25, maybe 20. But if you want 45, 50, I mean,
probably more. I will say this.
Tough.
I don't think Cheetah's time with the Dolphins, if this season is his last season with us, I don't think it's been a waste. Depending on what the outcome is after Cheetah. You understand me? Because of Cheetah, Tua was able to develop to be a better quarterback. Jalen Waddle was able to be a better wide receiver. The offense is able to be cohesive. Even though Cheetah's not around, he helped make that team, that group cohesive and make them better and make this team better. Then I don't see Cheetah as like, hey, we wasted his time being here. What I will say is I have no problem with him leaving because look at Kansas City. Kansas City let him walk, bro. Kansas City let him walk and they still won. So they figure out ways to win even though they had the best wide receiver in the NFL. In my opinion, man, I think this will be his last season. I honestly have been saying it and preaching it. I honestly feel Javon Holland is not coming back to the Dolphins. I think Javon Holland is going to be let go as well. They're going to let him test the market, and I think he's going to be gone. I don't think Chris Greer has shown any type of previous history of him wanting to like pay a buku money for a safety. I know he just I haven't gotten that vibe from him. I mean, remember
safeties are not that prized anymore when it comes to salary. I know you still got to drop a good amount of change, but look at Justin Simmons, great safety, and hasn't gotten picked up yet. So I get it. I do agree with you. I do think Miami will let Javon Holland test the waters, but they'll find a way to, kind of continue with this with the same team. And it's gonna display, hey, you're committed to the organization, we're gonna back you up. Because if Greer keeps doing this shit where he's like, hey, then it's gonna leave a bad taste in not only the player but in the fans as well.
I like the fact that he has to realize that he's in the back burner right now, right? You got Tua who wants to get re-signed. I'm pretty sure the Dolphins would probably make Jalen Phillips a priority as well. And if for some strange, crazy reason, Chris Greer still wants to keep Tyreek Hill on the team, then Javon Holland, you're gone. Like I'm telling you right now, he's not gonna.
I don't know. I think
if you're trying to make Tyreek Hill a top 5 wide receiver, and I like the fact that Tyreek Hill mentioned that he wants to end his career with the Miami Dolphins. He's saying all the right things, even though he's been kind of crazy the last couple of off seasons. He hasn't been the most stand-up individual. He's bringing a lot of drama the last couple of years. But at the end of the day, if Tyreek Hill is not getting if he gets his contract, if we're trying to pay him, if we decide we want to keep him, then dude, there has to be sacrifices. We did that with Christian Wilkins, and we did that with with the offensive lineman Robert Hunt. We did that. There's sacrifices. So if we're gonna pay the Tyreek Hill more money, which wasn't in our plans, right? Nobody has been saying that. Hey, we're gonna make Tyreek Hill highest paid, one of the highest paid wide receivers as well. I mean, for the love of God, you would have to have you have Jalen Waddle and then Tyreek Hill, two standout receivers getting paid buku money, and we're not even taking into account how much Tua wants. So like there has to be sacrifices. You're gonna have to let go of other guys. You're gonna not be if you decide to keep Tyreek Hill, then you know what? You're probably not gonna get neither Javon Holland or Jalen Phillips staying in the team. In my opinion, either one of them or both of them have to go. They're not gonna
We
be able
shall
to
see,
stay.
sir. We shall see. As of right now, they're really just focused on signing all the rookies. I heard that um, the only two rookies that haven't been signed yet has been Chop and Patrick. So hopefully those deals get done, and then we'll figure out from there, from moving forward. I like that they're handling and taking care of the future, and then they'll touch bases with. Remember, all these guys are still under contract. It's not like they're gonna disappear within the beginning of the season. They're still
Except
gonna
Javon,
play.
except Javon Holland. This is Javon Holland's last season.
Okay, they might franchise tag him. You might not. You don't know.
But again, if you don't resign Tua, then Tua's on his 5th-year option. So now you have to decide who you're going to franchise tag. Are you going to franchise tag Tua or you're going to franchise tag Javon Holland? You can't franchise two people.
They'll probably franchise tag Javon Holland, just like they did with. Didn't they franchise tag Wilkins too?
I don't remember they franchise
Oh, I
tag.
don't think so. I think he just let his contract play out.
Yeah, I did. The only player that we franchised in the last couple of years was Kaseki. That was the only one that we franchise tag, and then after that he walked. He does no doubt does mention here. I think Jalen Phillips could take Chubb's money. They can make that work. Phillips has 2 more years. He could. We would have to sacrifice Bradley Chubb though. That's the thing.
That's another talent where I'm not gonna lie to you, that has been not really a great asset that I thought was gonna really make that much impact, even though he was on pace to be doing really well. His return value hasn't been the greatest.
I wouldn't say that.
Compared to Tyreek Hill's.
Well, yeah. Compared to Tyreek Hill, no, he hasn't been the best. You're right about that. I do agree about that. But that doesn't mean that he hasn't stepped it up. I think I still think it has he made it up last year. It just sucks that he got hurt.
I
think
get it.
that's kind of what happened with him. But I want to get Cap for Life said Greer has fulfilled his obligations. What do you mean by Greer has fulfilled his obligations? What do you mean by that? Like
He probably means he's set up a solid team that has provided productive years, which we haven't seen as fans for a long time. And now the next obligation or objective is to continue that run and to continue that to eventually where we create a legacy, with the players that we've drafted and kind of maximizing their skill sets and stuff like that.
Okay, so all right. Has Chris Greer built a Super Bowl caliber team, a team that could contend for the Super Bowl?
100%.
Offensively, I think he has. Defensively, I think he did last year, but this year now he's having to kind of take risk because you don't know what you're getting. You don't have a defensive tackle. Nobody replaced Christian Wilkins. Benito Jones is the only guy who I could honestly say probably will take over a spot. And unless Benito Jones has drastically improved his moves and gotten better, but what he did in the Lions was okay, but it's not Christian Wilkins type of vibes. I mean, maybe the strategy has changed and he'll succeed, but as of right now, it's kind of a concern that you don't have anybody replacing. Now, the team's compounded on us, bro. What happened to Zach Taylor? What happened to Zach Taylor get hurt?
I get you. You have this type of concern with the defense, but as long as the offense is top 3 in the NFL, I think the defense can over time throughout the season get better, and they'll find people, diamonds in the rough and stuff like that, who are gonna show production.
This ain't the Miami Heat, my friend. We haven't gone ahead and say, hey, the Miami Dolphins have been able to find diamonds in the rough because we thought Cater Cole was this legit, and then look what happened. He
Oh
struggled
man,
last
but
season.
this is his third year, bro. Look what Jalen Ramsey just said about Anthony Weaver, that he's feeling more free. He's feeling more of his type of play, type of defense. And this is just gonna improve. I get it that the defensive tackle position is kind of in a question mark right now, but still, man, as long as we continue with this high powering offense that Mike McDaniel has created, and we trust in Tua, which I do, I'm gonna say it right now, in Tua we trust. We just gotta continue with this and just keep on improving, man.
So
And
you might trust in Tua, but I can tell you right now, Alex doesn't. He says not with Tua as QB. He doesn't believe in Tua. I mean, look, man. When it comes to Tua and his money, I've always said to you guys, I want the guy to get paid because first and foremost, it's good for him. You know, his numbers speak for themselves. And at the end of the day, I know a lot of you might hate me for saying this, but if he gets paid, his seat gets hotter, man. He needs to go. It's gonna lit a fire on him. He's either gonna succeed or he's gonna fall and crash, just like Ryan Tannehill, right? We paid Ryan Tannehill, and what did we get from Ryan Tannehill? We made a decision. Yo, Ryan Tannehill is not working out. We gotta get rid of him, bro. That's what I want.
okay,
With
but then what
Tua.
happened? What happened with Ryan Tannehill? Where did he go? He went to Tennessee, found the system that kind of helped him out, and even was one game away from the
Yeah,
Super
but right, the difference right now between Ryan Tannehill when he was in the Dolphins and Tua being in the Dolphins is that when Ryan Tannehill left, we never built a system to help him. With Tua, we brought Mike McDaniel, we brought Tyreek Hill. I don't remember the Miami Dolphins doing all these changes for Ryan Tannehill. They stuck with their guns. They said, "Hey, Adam Gase, you're the one who's going to lead us," and all this stuff. And Ryan Tannehill was just, "Hey, I'm following the protocol of just going ahead and trying to lead this team." And nobody was ever sold on Brian Tannehill. When
I
it comes
don't
to
know.
Tua, there's a lot of people who are sold on Tua. A lot of people say, yo, and also let's keep it real. At the end of the day, Tannehill's numbers don't compare to Tua's numbers. Tua's way better when it comes to statistics. So if you're looking at Tua's numbers and you're looking at the system that they put in place, if you see the coach that they put in place, if you saw the receivers, everybody, I mean, dude, for the love of God, we brought OBJ to this team. Like, tell me, dude, you brought like a Miami Heat trio here: Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh. You got him in the receivers, and not to mention the tight end, dude. Like
Wait,
they're
so
setting.
LeBron is Tua, Dwayne Wade is Tyreek,
LeBron is Tua. No, LeBron is not Tua.
Tyreek is
Tyreek
Dwayne
is
Wade,
LeBron.
and you said Taron Armstead is Chris Bosh. Waddle
No,
is Ray Allen.
no. First and foremost, the best player on the Miami Dolphins is Tyreek Hill. Let's just keep it. That's the
The best
reality.
player that we have right now in the Miami Dolphins is Tua Tagovailoa, sir.
Wow, you're gonna are you riding this Tua bandwagon, bro? What's up with you? Ever since you won this Tua helmet, you've been riding this Tua bandwagon, bro. He is not the best player on the Miami Dolphins. Let's keep it real. He is not. Tyreek Hill's the best player on the
When
Miami Dolphins.
Tyreek Hill doesn't have Tua under center, look at his numbers.
Say it again.
When Tyreek look at not Tyreek Hill's numbers when Tua's not on the field, and then look at Tyreek Hill's numbers when Tua is on the field. And then look at Tua's numbers when Tyreek is not on the field, and then talk to me.
I love Cat for Life. Cat for Life says, "Hey, LeBron is Tua." Yeah, Tua is not LeBron. I mean, Tyreek Hill is better. Let's just keep it real. Look, okay, all right. Yes or no? Did this offense get better when Tyreek Hill was brought into this team with Tua? Because remember, Tua was on here before. So, did this offense get better when Tyreek Hill was brought to this team?
Mike McDaniel improved the offense when offensively, and then he unlocked Tua's true skills and brought just reinforcements, which was Tyreek Hill, which is a great asset, obviously. So it's not only Tyreek Hill; it's a combination of the holy trio: Mike Daniel, Tyreek, and Tua.
Let me ask you something.
Damn, everybody's getting hyped up because I said LeBron. Tua's LeBron.
I mean, I'll probably put it on. I'll probably clip that part of the show and put it out there saying that you're calling Tua LeBron James, bro. What is this, man? I don't know
Baby
about all
LeBron,
this.
baby
LeBron
goat.
is not Tua, not on his best day. Might be a Ray Allen on his best day. I agree with you. I agree with you, Alex. I think at the end of the day,
Hey
if we
man,
gotta compare.
they got rings, man. They got rings. That's all that matters.
Now, no, that has a good point. I would take a Ray Allen. He would take a Ray Allen. That's true. But then I'd rather take who's a Luka Doncic, aka right now a Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, over a Ray Allen. I can tell you that right now. I'm telling you right now. But
You, I
there
don't
is
know.
there is one thing that Cap mentioned that I do want to go ahead and also ask you about it. Are you guys content with our backup quarterback situation? I'm gonna tell you something, man. Yes, I am. I don't. We never saw Mike White. And Skyler, when he was out there against the Buffalo Bills, dude, he kept us in the game too. Like, he didn't blow it. We didn't lose the game because of Skyler. Okay? We did not
What?
lose the game because of
Yo,
Skyler.
you're crazy.
No, sir. We did not lose that game because of Skyler. Yes, he threw the pick, but dude, he was reading the field, dude. He was making
He
plays.
completely missed. If I'm not mistaken, he had completely missed either Mostert, or I don't think Mostert even played that game, or I think he did play that game. But it was either Waddle, but it was someone who, when we went back into the film tape, and we were like, "Wow, how did Skyler not see that guy?"
Dude, he was a rookie. He's a third.
So
He
then,
was a
exactly. So how you're gonna say he was carrying the team to a first playoff win in almost 20 plus years? Man, that was all defense.
I wasn't saying he was carrying a team to a first
That was
playoff
all
win.
defense.
I was saying that he didn't lose us the game either. That the last play of the game was,
Luka.
I mean, he made a mistake and he threw it. Mistakes are happen, but he kept us in that game along with the defense in a hostile crowd in Buffalo, our rivals, which we always get blown. We always get blown in Buffalo, and he kept us in that game. I'm not gonna be
Okay,
mad.
what about the game when we played in the snow, nighttime, prime time? Tua held us in the game, and if it actually Tua gave us the lead, and if it wasn't for the Dolphins defense pretty much fumbling the bag, they would have won that game.
I agree. I agree, but the question is, are we satisfied with the backups? I'm not saying Skyler's gonna surpass Tua. I said I'm satisfied with the backups. I think
I'm not
Skyler is good,
satisfied with
and I
that.
think Mike White. We haven't given Mike White a chance. What has Mike White? Tua hasn't gotten hurt, thank God, but he hasn't. And let's keep it real. Come on, guys, let's keep it real. If Mike White was better, let's say if Mike White, for some strange reason, he's able to play better and pass the ball better. Do you really think Chris Greer or Mike McDaniel will allow Mike White to surpass Tua? Hell no, dude.
No, of course
Hell
not.
no. So you can't go and judge and say, "Oh, Mike White is not better." It sucks because we haven't seen him. So why are you guys all of a sudden saying, "Hey, our backups suck"? We haven't even seen them. Like, we could say that when we had Jacoby Brissett because Jacoby Brissett sucked the biggest balls in the world because he actually got a shot and he was terrible out there. But Mike White hasn't gotten a shot. And Skyler, the moment he did get a shot, we won that Jets game. It wasn't pretty, but we won it. And he kept us in the game against Buffalo in that playoff game. I'm not gonna be pissed at him.
I'm not content with the backups because they all have history of injury, and I just don't feel comfortable. And God forbid, let me knock on all sorts of wood. But if something happens where Tua cannot play a game, I'm just scared that Mike White can't even finish a game because we had gone through this before. We've seen Mike White play maybe one game and then he got hurt. So it's like, nah, man, I'm not content. I would want a veteran quarterback in the backfield, giving everyone pointers and just really helping them out throughout the game. Do you really think Tua's going to go ahead and ask Skylar Thompson or Mike White, hey, guys, what do you think about this play?
I would agree with
No.
you if this was
No,
the first
not.
year for. I would agree with you if this was the first year for Tua. Dude, this is his 5th year, man. He has his big boy pants. He's no longer in diapers. He's in big boy pants. You don't need 10 years of coaching behind him. Screw that. You're a big boy. You're supposed to be able to know this is your 3rd year with the offense. Like, come on. What more coaching does he need? No. He is supposed to be the leader.
And I'm glad you said 3rd year, and look how we're not me, I'm not panicking, but everyone else is panicking. Oh my God, why isn't Tua haven't done anything? It's your third year, my friend. Like
Well, third year with this offense.
he's continuously improving. So that's where the fans, I don't know, I kind of don't agree with that.
I mean, people do get upset, or do people do panic with Tua because we're antsy. We all want the Miami Dolphins to win. We don't, and our window is kind of shutting close. And now you have guys like Tyreek Hill asking for more money. And again, sacrifices will have to be made if you decide to sign Tyreek Hill. I'm just being honest. That's the reality truth.
Fuck it, fuck it. It's our
But
best
but but
window right now, man.
but let me ask you this. This is a very good question that I just came up with. If the Miami Tyreek Hill went and said, "Hey, I want to be a Miami Dolphin for the rest of my career." Tyreek Hill is what, 31? I think he's 31.
30.
He's 30. So how many years do you think he has left in his career? I'd probably say another 4 years,
4.
maybe. Okay. How about if the Miami Dolphins don't trust Tua and they franchise tag him, and then next year, depending on how he does this year, all of a sudden Tyreek Hill does a really good job, or let's say Tua, God forbid, he gets hurt, and they're able to muster, a solid year without Tua. Would you, as a Dolphins, as Chris Greer, would you resign Tyreek Hill over Tua Tagovailoa and be like, okay, we're gonna stick with Tyreek, we're gonna stick with the offense that we have, but we're gonna move on from Tua and we're gonna try another quarterback, whether it's in free agency or whether it's in the draft? Would you consider that if Tyreek balls out this year and Tua, God forbid, gets either hurt or something happens to him where he can't play, and Mike White or Skyler comes in, and all of a sudden the production is still there, even with Tua being out?
I think that's still unfair. I would still trust in Tua.
Unfair? Why unfair? If Tua was to get hurt, and again, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm not trying, but I'm just pitching a different scenario here, because remember, we're trying to see if we want to keep Tyreek Hill or we want to keep Tua. If we keep Tyreek Hill, if something was to happen to Tua and Tua sits out and gets hurt and he misses a couple games, and you bring in the backup, Mike White or Skyler, and the production is still there, you're pretty much showing us that it's not so much Tua Tagovailoa, it's more of the system and the players around the system that make this offense lethal. Now, I could also say the same thing with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill gets hurt and Tua produces ridiculous numbers still, then that's when you could go ahead and be like, you know what? We don't need Tyreek Hill. Let's let him walk as well. So both scenarios is what I'm trying to try to
I
pick.
mean, you can lean on to both scenarios, and there really isn't going to be a concrete question or an answer. Obviously, people are going to think first, hey, okay, finally, that it was proven that Tua isn't a reliable quarterback due to his health issues. I get that, but we're not there yet. We're not gonna get there. We're gonna keep on striving, and we're gonna keep on proving the Tua haters every doubt that they have in him. And I get your question, but
What Tua says is, I mean, what Cat for Life is saying is true. These are hypotheticals. I'm not
yeah,
going ahead. It's just,
yeah, there's a lot of what ifs. I just feel like right now people are antsy, like Tua said, and they just want to see a contract being done. And so does he, and he expressed it. He's not frustrated. He said clearly that there's been forward progression. It's not like he's literally saying, oh, I haven't heard anything, I'm going to sit out. No, he clearly said in his interview, things have progressively forward and, things are looking good. And it was just a quick update. Hey, I'm a little antsy, but hey, we're going to make this happen.
all I want, in my opinion, is for Tua to get paid, right? Because he deserves it at the end of the day. And then I want him to step his game up even more, with or without Tyreek Hill, with or without Jalen Waddle. I think you still have lethal weapons. OBJ, you got a second year with Braxton Berrios behind the wing. You have Moster, Achen, the rookie, the other Jalen coming in. I mean, dude, you have so many lethal weapons. If You know what would be a crazy scenario, in my opinion, if God forbid the offense starts to suffer a whole bunch of injuries as drastic as the defense, except for Tua, and Tua's still able to produce these crazy amount of numbers and performances, not only in the beginning of the season, but we're going to the end of the season. I think what happens is Tua needs to kind of like perform no matter what, especially since he wants to get paid. And I think he's gonna have
Expectations
to.
were there.
Yeah, I mean that at the end of the day, Tua needs to deliver. If you want to get paid, bro, you got to deliver. And right now, has he delivered? He's I guess statistically he has, but when it comes to crunch time, he's kind of fallen a little bit short. That's all.
It's okay.
So
It'll work out. It will work out, sir.
I agree. Hopefully it does. And then obviously we got Jalen Waddle who did resign, and we have him now. A hell of a deal. I thought Chris Greer literally se la comió. Like he freaking ate that. He did an amazing job signing him. Look what Justin Jefferson just got. Justin Jefferson got paid, bro. So
Yeah,
I can't go ahead and knock Chris Greer for that. I think he did a phenomenal job signing Jalen Waddle and securing the future. And it also gives us some flexibility to go ahead and say, hey, look, Tyreek, we don't want to keep you. We got our replacement, which is Jalen Waddle. And look, if you let Tyreek Hill go and you resign again OBJ for a second year, is there a big downfall from having Jalen Waddle and OBJ on one side and Jalen Waddle on the opposite side? I still think it's a great threat, one and the other, bro.
especially if John Smith pans out at a tight end position, because we've came to a conclusion from previous episodes that we've realized when it comes to having teams like the Greatest Show on Turf or the Houston team that provided huge numbers back in the day. It comes to the tight end position, and if you have a strong tight end position or positions, then I think the team can kind of downgrade on certain wide receiver players.
Yeah. Yeah. I do want to go ahead and mention to you guys that me and my brother will soon be going ahead and doing our pre picks again. We did our pre picks before, and then we're eventually gonna do our pre picks again soon. It's right around the we're right around the corner, and we want to go ahead and let you guys know that our picks change. They vary from time to time.
Oh my god!
Let me ask you something, Nick. Remember, we both had it. I think I have it written, dude. I actually wrote it down. You had the Dolphins going 12-5, and I
Yeah.
had the Dolphins going 10-7. Now that we have Tua, he's lost some weight. You got Odell, part of the team. You saw the draft, what we did, and everything. Rather, right now, has your pre record changed from 12-5? Has it changed? Is it better, the same, or you think they're gonna win more?
I would say I would like to reveal my decision on the next episode. So I would like for the viewers to tune in to find out next episode, because I think that's I would like to dive deeper into that.
Okay, and I'll do the same. How about that? We'll go ahead next episode. We'll go ahead and determine our pre records were 10-7 by me, and you had 12-5. So now that we are jumping into mandatory OTAs, we'll do our pre. Remember, there's 3 pre, so we did that. Now we're gonna do our 2 pre-pre's. We'll do our pre for the preseason, and then right before the season starts, our final record of what we think the Dolphins are gonna do this year.
A lot of pre's, man. A lot of pre's.
Well, that's the way we work. Now, before we jump out of the Dolphins conversation, I want to ask the fans, and I want to ask the fans because I'm curious about this, and I want to, and this is something that my brother asked me, and I want to see, Kevin, how does that work? I want to get your opinion, guys. So you guys know that me and my brother are season ticket holders. Cat for Life also is, I believe, a season ticket holder. My brother came up to me the other day and he asked me, "Hey Frank, there is an offer by the Miami Dolphins that they're offering like this perk package or
It's a great
whatever,
deal. It's a great deal.
a perk package." So the package is, the cost of it is somewhere around the $700 mark, right, for the whole season. what you get from it is that you get like a lounge for Dolphin season ticket holders, right? So you basically you get it, you're able to access the place 2 hours before the game. You're able to access it during the game, and it's air conditioned and everything, and then you get to access it 2 hours after the game, right? It's about 700. I'm not gonna say exactly say the number because I don't want to throw the Dolphins in the bus, but it's not, let's just say somewhere around the 700 mark. You get free soda. Supposedly they say that we're gonna get possible players
True,
showing up.
true member experience.
True
Legit,
member True member experience
legit member
is
experience.
that what they call it? True member experience?
It's the member lounge. Of course, it's true member experience.
All right, sir. So you
Excellent
guys,
catering, excellent service,
but the catering is not free. We get a discount on the
member prices, which we know that they're very beneficial.
member prices are like maybe $2 off. What
Great accommodations by sofas, great seating areas, AC because you definitely know how it gets hot in the stadium. We have the ability to access it 2 hours before the game, during the game, and after the game.
Okay, so what you're telling me, so this is what we're gonna get with paying 700 something plus dollars, is we're getting AC, free sodas, we're gonna get food at a discounted price, and we get to chill in there before the game, during the game, and at the end of the game. And we get AC with some sofas and all that stuff. Let me ask the chat. Do you guys think that's worth it? Do you think, and this is for all 8 home games, right? So it's somewhere around the 700 mark. Do you
Three,
think
three, three monthly payments. If you try now, it would be, but number one monthly payment on June, second in July, and then lastly August.
so you could break the payment? So that's cool.
Two
But
seventy five each month.
but at the end of the day, you're paying somewhere around that mark, somewhere around 700 plus dollars. Do you guys think it's worth it? Do you think it makes sense for both my brother and myself to purchase this during the season? Let us know on the chat board if it's worth it or if it's not. Now, I do want to go while you guys help us out in our decision. I did see this comment. It says, answer me this. How many QBs in the league have been with a team for 5 years, been to the playoffs twice without a win, and has gotten paid 100+ million?
Justin Herbert.
Okay. How many QBs in the league have been with a team for 5 years? Yeah, because Justin has been pretty much the same. Been to the playoffs twice. Well, Justin Herbert, has he been in the playoffs twice? I thought he was only there once.
He got there when they choked against the Rams, and I think he was there.
The Rams are not
I'm
even.
sorry, not the Rams, the Jaguars.
That one I remember. That's the only one I remember.
And then they lost, I think, last year as well. Oh no, they didn't even make it last year. So
yeah, no, I think he's only made it once.
He's still getting paid.
And he is still getting paid. That is true. I will say that. So that is a good point. He is a good example of somebody who has gone to the playoffs. He went less than twice. So he went once.
What about Dak Prescott? What has he done? And look how he's gotten paid.
Yeah, but he has won some playoff games as the Dallas quarterback, no? I think he has.
Has he?
I think he has. I'm not gonna lie. Memo says, if y'all go for it, maybe y'all can get more content for the podcast. Well, that's not a bad idea. You know what, Memo? That's a very good point. We could probably interview people, but I don't know if the Dolphins are going to let us do that, because it's inside their facility. So maybe we could get.
It's a lot cheaper than that Inter Miami experience where I have to pay over $1,000 to breathe in the same air as Messi, who is great. He's playing great football, by the way, but still. Completely different scenario, completely different price range. Just for a guy to play part-time and ask for a full-time check. Come on, bro. Get out of here.
So look what Cap for Life said, and I know Cap said anything below a stack is worth it if you have a parking pass. You know what? It's not man, dude.
Cap, I like your idea.
The chat is going for it. They want it. But you know what? You know what? No doubt you really, I'm not no doubt. Memo has a really good point because we could meet more Dolphin season ticket holders in that and then have them come to the podcast. I'm pretty sure some of them would like to join our podcast and be
There's
like, hey,
even the rep even put that sometimes even after we leave out of the game, sometimes the players pass by and say hi and take pictures and all that stuff, and then we
all sweaty and stuff. I love it.
we can use it as a networking attempt. So if I can surround myself, if I can surround myself with people who have the ability and the luxury of paying it, then I would want to be around that circle.
That's not a bad idea. Alex
Look
says,
at the people we met when we went to the Buffalo game.
yeah, but we met them, and what has that been like? Where we haven't even spoken to them ever since.
True, but if you reach out, they're gonna remember. It's sweet ties, sir. We don't have
That
to
is
be
true.
super. We don't have to be super close, but they know a name on that face, and that's all we need. That's all we
That's
need.
true. That's true because people do remember us from time to time, and maybe they'll tune
So
in.
no doubt said that Dak went to the NFC Championship game. Okay, I guess that he proved. I don't remember that, but you
Says
know,
Dak was number 1 in touchdowns last season. Love was number 2 in touchdowns in the league. Wow.
yeah, but that's NFC, bro. Talk to me when they're in the AFC, the hardest conference right now, bro.
Alex goes and says it's a horrible deal. $700 for AC and free soda? No thanks. Well, I mean that.
Well, if you compare what the season ticket prices right now, my friend, I think compared to the season ticket prices right now, don't even want to throw out numbers. It's
Okay, look at it this way, right? Sodas at the ball game, at the football game, cost like about what? We get a souvenir cup every time we go too, right? But that also
we get a customized member souvenir cup, free refills, crazy accommodation.
now let's say for example you or me can't make it, and let's say for example we go and
you can put someone on the list. Yes, you can.
do they have to pay? So, like, for example,
I would have to put on the drawing board and get back with you on that.
Let's say, for example, I said to you, Nick, you know what? I can't make it, man. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to take Cat for Life. Does Cat for Life have access to the lounge because he's replacing me? In other words, we would have to
I wouldn't be surprised, yes, because you already paid for someone's seat. So if you're just filling in that seat via authorized by you, I don't think there would be a problem.
Now you mentioned that if we want to bring somebody, now let's say you and me are there, right? And we want to bring somebody else. Can we bring somebody else?
We can bring someone else. Just they pay an individual 1 game fee.
And how much is the individual 1 game fee? Do you know?
It varies. It could be $100. It could be $150. Shit, it can be $50.
So let's say, for example, Alex, who says it's a horrible deal, and he all of a sudden is at the game, and he tells us, "Hey, we want to link up." And they say, "Hey, Alex, man, let's come cozy and sit down in the AC with us, bro." We don't know how much Alex is gonna have to pay. We could bring him, but we can't. We gotta. He's gonna have to pay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they give us some sort of lanyard or type of like a ribbon or whatever that identifies we have access to that.
Now, I will say this. You mentioned
wristband.
You mentioned the one of Inter Miami. Inter Miami is like really expensive, right? It's like $1,000.
Super expensive. I did that experience. And
okay, so you did the experience. So if you compare the two, was food included in the Inter Miami one?
Yes.
So that's a benefit on the Inter Miami portion, right? That's better.
But that's 1 game.
What do you mean 1 game?
I believe you have to pay over. I think it's 1 game is like $500-$600 already.
Wait, say that again.
I think 1 game for VIP experience, 1 game is $500-$600 already alone.
And the Inter Miami thing for like the lounge experience? Oh wow, I didn't know that. Then that's pretty pricey, bro. Not gonna lie. I mean, I like Inter Miami, but I don't like Inter Miami that much. That's
telling you, man. I'm telling you.
But you did get to eat though, but it's not worth $600 worth of food. I can tell you that.
I might rather go to Taco Bell, which is around the corner.
Sir, we always run for the border. That's one of our hot spots. There's 2 places I would rather go all the time. And you know what? Let me ask you something. If I go to the lounge place, can I bring Pollo Tropical into?
Sir, the lounge has Pollo Tropical in it.
Oh, don't tell me that. That might sell me. That might.
Sir, they got it. They even have this place, the hibachi place. Benihana's. They have Benihana's in that bitch. They got American Social in that bitch. You want a brunch fuck it, let's do it.
But what about the drinks? What about if we want to get hammered in there? Can
I'm
we
sorry,
get?
you're gonna pay a fee, but it's a member fee.
Let me ask you this. If we want to go into this lounge and get hammered, let's say Cat for Life, who says I'll pay my share. Take me, bro. Let's say we go ahead and we tell Cat for Life, hey, Cat for Life, and Alex makes his way over there, and we bring him on there, and we drink our asses off. Can we pass out on the sofa and they won't say anything to us? Explain that to me, sir. Is that possible? Can we get that experience?
I don't know. Hopefully.
They'll probably kick us out. They were like, "Yo, these fans are too. These are not nice professional fans. These are like ghetto ass."
All I know is that if I bring, they just can't wear an Argentinian jersey because then I don't think they will be allowed.
Oh, and Dolphins Lounge?
Yeah, 100%.
No, didn't they say that you could only bring Dolphin attire?
Correct.
You can't bring opposing attire. Exactly. So imagine if you bring an Argentinian jersey or an Inter Miami jersey and it's particularly messy, I mean, not only will they not let you in, they'll probably throw eggs at you. Get the hell out of here, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, people say Frankie. What is Memo saying here? Memo saying Frankie is the mayor of Pollo Tropical. And talk about yes, please. Pollo Tropical and Taco Bell. I eat a lot of Pollo Tropical and Taco Bell. I actually had Pollo Tropical earlier today. So if you guys want to sponsor the show, please Pollo Tropical. Make your way, guys. If you want to help the show, send a link to Pollo Tropical or to Taco Bell and send them a message saying, yo, sponsor these guys. These guys will sell Taco Bell and Pollo Tropical like there's no tomorrow.
I would love that.
I eat Pollo Tropical like there's no tomorrow. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. That's one of my favorite spots. I usually get, I'll tell you, I'll take the chicken quesadilla and I eat the Caribbean chicken soup, bro. Money.
Nah, man. For me is the half chicken with brown rice and beans with an additional side with my curly cut fries with my pollo sauce and that.
My God, look at this guy saying like, have some class, sir.
Oh
have some class.
You see that's why Argentina has an asterisk on that World Cup. But whatever, that's another day.
Hey, Cat for Life writes, if it got pollo, it's where it helped, dude. Right? Nick, you're
have you ever tried pollo tropical pan con lechon? That shit fire, bro.
Oh, no doubt. It says Pollo Tropical sucks where I live. We don't have abuelas back on there on the grill. I miss South Florida. No doubt. Where you stay at, man? Where you staying at? I don't know where you staying at. That's interesting because Pollo Tropical in Florida, you know what's crazy is when I lived in Gainesville for a while, they didn't have Pollo Tropical in Gainesville. And now last time when I went to go visit my sister in Pensacola and we stopped by Gainesville, there's a Pollo Tropical in Gainesville. So I was like, holy crap, Pollo Tropical.
Yeah, no, Pollo Tropical's footprint has expanded
Wow.
big time. Look at Daytona, bro.
They don't have, no, he says that he stays in Palm Coast, Daytona. There's no Pollo Tropical in Palm Coast, Daytona.
He just said Pollo Tropical sucks where I live.
Oh, he does. He did say that. Also, they do have it in Daytona, but it's not that good.
It's like Publix. I think Publix is up to Orlando now, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So look, I mean,
whatever. Aside from that,
we're kind of like sidetracking here. But you know what? Oh, there isn't it blows. Yeah, he said that there isn't it blows.
But
right,
anyways,
but hey, man. I mean, Nick, you know, maybe this kind of backfired on me. I thought the chat was gonna tell me no, don't do it, but everybody's saying go for it, bro. So, hey, man, like I told you, let me know if they allow us to have like a 1-game experience. I would like to test the waters first before we sign up. So I don't know if you hit her up, but at least ask her and then see if we could test the waters at least with 1 game. And if it's worth it, then you're right, man. And you know what? It would be cool if we could if we could bring like a camera. Like I could bring my record it from my phone and have the whole thing and record it, and you know that could be a good experience for us as well. And plus, if it's really hot as balls at the game and we're getting our asses kicked or something like that, it's always, at least we could go inside the lounge and like drink our sorrows away and be like, no, this game is like, it's gonna be a long game for us. Alex is still around and he says only going up there in either 100-degree weather or when Miami weather is bipolar and it rains. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because since we sit close, we're still in the area where we would get wet. But ladies and gentlemen, that is our segment for the Dolphins. We're going to end the show with one last thing. And of course, my brother's wearing it, and that is Real Madrid. And the question here is, sir, this is the question I wanted to ask you because, Jude Bellingham, nice. The question here for all of us, or particularly for you, sir. Real Madrid won Champions League, and Mbappe just finished signing with Real Madrid. If Real Madrid does not win Champions League next year, we're just talking about next year, because what was Mbappe's sign? How long did he sign with Real Madrid?
I believe it's 5 years.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's say this, that in the next 5 years, Real Madrid, some way somehow, are only able to win one Champions League. Will signing Mbappe be a success or a failure for Real Madrid?
A success.
Even if they only win one Champions League in the 5 years that he has been signed.
Yeah, because we've had previous teams, super teams, and they didn't win anything. I remember when Madrid had Kaká, Cristiano Ronaldo, prime Mateo Ozil, prime Di Maria, prime Sami Khedira, prime Xavi Alonso, and they didn't win anything, and they lost in penalties. So look at Eden Hazard. We thought Eden Hazard was going to be the replacement of Cristiano Ronaldo, and that guy barely scored 20 goals in his 4 or 5 years in his career. So definitely it would be a success because it still continues on what Madrid's objective and goal is, and it's to be the best club in the whole entire world.
Now, let me ask you this, though. Madrid is already possibly the best club in the whole wide world right now because they won champions. Did they need to sign Mbappe?
Yes.
Why? If they
Because
just won.
every team is going to improve. Every team is going to improve. Every team is going to always find a way to beat Madrid, and Madrid needs a number 9. I get it. They pulled it off this year, but it's not going to be something like, hey, we'll bring Joselu again and repeat the magic. Nah, that's not going to happen. That's always a one-time thing. And I don't know if you know, but Mbappe is getting the number 9 jersey. So we know now that Mbappe is going to be the number 9, and then it just depends on where Rodrigo wants to be at. I know Rodrigo has kind of expressed a little bit of distrust when it comes to this transaction. Obviously, for PR purposes, he's going to be like, yeah, all right, great. But at the same time, though, he knows that other teams are looking at him and saying, yo, your contract is coming up. How about you sign with us? And one of those teams actually is Man City. So there's been some sort of interest when it comes to that. So every player, you never know. Look at Casemiro. He randomly said, yo, it's time for me to go. Madrid is the type of team that business is business. The club is always going to be bigger than the player. So I feel like Madrid is going to continue on this reign of authority, and Mbappe is just my only concern about next year's team is who's going to run through the ball when it comes to Madrid, because this year we noticed that Toni Kroos was kind of like the navigator, the guy, the anchor, and then when it came to playing from the backfield onto the forward field, that's when Jude kind of excelled. And then definitely you knew Vinicius or Rodrigo were the 1-2 punch when it came to forwards. Now that Mbappe is in the mix, who's going to be the one getting the less touches, the less, I guess you could say contribution. And my fear is Jude Bellingham. I think Jude is not going to get as much, production as how he did this year because of how much they needed him.
Okay. I have another question for you. Real Madrid actually made a pit stop. Some of their players made a pit stop today at the Dolphins facility. I don't know if you noticed that. So if you're not a big Real Madrid fan, you probably should become a big Real Madrid fan because they did go visit the Miami Dolphins and they were talking about it and everything was going on. So my question to you is, sir, let me see if I'm able to get it here. This was Vinicius out there in the Dolphins showing up and saying a couple of things. What did he say on there? It says, muy feliz de estar aquí, que se ha pasado, última temporada, go Dolphins. So he was saying he was go Dolphins and stuff like that while he was there. Now, I'm trying to find the video. I don't know if I can find it. But there was a point in time when Real Madrid player, Vinicius was there, and your boy Tua Tagovailoa came and approached Vinicius Jr., and your boy Tua Tagovailoa did not know who Vinicius Jr. was, sir. So explain to me the disrespect that Tua just did to your team, Real Madrid, by not knowing who Vinicius is. Does that How do you feel that Tua Tagovailoa does not know who Real Madrid is?
Um, I don't blame him. You know, he's so committed in having to learn the playbook for a third year in a row. He's a committed player. He's too busy, you know, getting trained by John Beck that sometimes certain sports it goes over his head. And at the end of the day, I'm glad that he was able to, you know, meet a great player like Vinicius, who's by the way in the mix in winning the Balón de Oro apparently, which I don't agree with that, but whatever. So I don't blame Tua. Tua is really committed right now when it comes to his play with the Dolphins. So I wouldn't. I'm not upset that he wasn't fully aware who, you know, these players are.
I mean,
I really like the Vinicius and Militao. Notice how Rodrigo's not there. When you have players that you know are gonna stay with the team for a really long time.
whoa, there it is. There it is. And see, there was Tua right there saying, "Nice to meet. What up, you guys?" And they had no. They shook Tua's
Look at
hand.
Vinicius. Vinicius is not gonna be like, damn, who is this guy? He was like, wow, that's Tua Tagovailoa. Look at that smile, bro. Come on.
I think he was smiling because he was like, "Damn, that guy's hair looked really crazy right there." He's like, "Damn, maybe I should let my hair grow like that." Maybe I think
He's
that was
like,
the reason
he
why.
must be like, is that Tua Tagovailoa?
He could have said that. Yes, he could have said because oh, we don't want to get copyrighted here.
Oh, Vinicius. Oh my god, that boy airballed. Hell no. Damn, look
Oh,
at that number 7 jersey, bro. Chill.
Benicia didn't even wear a number 1 jersey, sir. What disrespect is that?
Bro,
They're not
that's his
showing.
jersey. That's his number, bro. Of course he's not gonna wear. He's gonna wear what the Dolphin. Sir, stop instigating, sir. Stop instigating.
Sir, he didn't wear the number 1 Tua. Look, he's saying what's up to Chris Greer right there, Miami Dolphins.
Odell Beckham Jr. knows who they are. So
Absolutely. Odell got some kudo points from my end, bro. I like Odell. Odell actually knows a little bit of Real Madrid, so
he thought it was Bruno Mars. I like that one, no doubt. That one.
That is true. That's what it was. That's why he was smiling. He thought it was Bruno Mars, sir. That's what it was. That's it.
Right, sir. Aside from that, anything else you want to talk about? Because I know we've been going on for a really long time.
Yeah, we've been going for 2.5 hours. Sorry about that. Tua is not a Barca fan, though. I will. Memo says that Tua is a Barca fan. Ooh. Sir, I think we covered everything. I want to go ahead and once again thank everybody who has tuned in to the podcast today. No doubt. Official Memo, Cat for Life, Alex, anybody else? I mean, Chad came on board a little bit earlier today as well. Trying to see, we had a lot of people chat on the comment on the chat. Let me see if anybody else. I think if I missed you, I'm so sorry. I do want to go ahead and say that please don't forget to hit the like. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe. Josh was there as well. Don't forget to also follow me on social media under Fresco Music. You see it right there under my name, under my photo. And then Nick, talk to me, man. How can they find you, sir?
You guys can find me right here on the link below at That Way Nick on Twitter or X, better known. You can also find me on That Way Nick on Instagram if you want to, follow. I follow back. And we're just excited. 19 days from now, your boy and I, we're gonna be on the air flying to Houston because we're gonna be watching. Así, Colombia. Sí, Colombia. Sí.
So, in the next couple of weeks, now that you mention it, we will keep you guys updated with the show. We are going to be flying out to Houston to go see one of the games of the Copa America. Colombia playing against Paraguay. I think we're coming back on Tuesday, so pretty sure we might be able to do the show on Wednesday, just depending on how we feel. And then in August, I'm actually going out to California, so that weekend, that for sure for that week, I'm not going to be able to make it for the show. But like I said, we will try to do everything, or maybe we just reschedule the show for another day and probably do it. But I want to thank also Paola, my sister, for coming on. Stephanie, those two ladies did a phenomenal job during the Caitlin Clark segment. And then I also, again, just want to thank you, my brother, always being here, always being committed to coming and showing love on the podcast. And little by little, we're growing, man. Little by little, I appreciate everybody on X, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Facebook, everybody on Twitch who tunes in and day out. We really, 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 really do appreciate it. We're just two brothers trying to make it happen, talking about sports, talking about what we love, and then just, talking with you guys, man. This show is not only about us too, it's about everybody. So from everybody here at Let Me Talk to You, me and my brother, we're out. Episode 29 next week. Until then, hasta luego, and go Panthers, right? Go Panthers.
Let me talk to you.
The biggest icon in wrestling.